Nothing can stop me. No. 'Cause I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way, I follow. No need to say where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all. So tell your good night, 'cause I'll find no matter what. Yeah, susceptible now, before the moment flies, before it flies. So tell your good night, 'cause I'll find no matter what. Susceptible now, before the moment flies.
Shout out, shout out, shout out. It is a wonderful, wonderful Sunday evening here in Cali, Colombia. Hope that you guys are having a great day or evening where you're located. When I was incarcerated, we used to call people that thought they knew everything world, because they thought they or present themselves as if they knew everything in the world. And most of the time they didn't know what they were talking about, but we just let them talk. Go ahead, let world talk. Same thing it is when it comes to our passport. A lot of American citizens make assumptions about our passports and they assume things about our passport, but many, if not most Americans, know very little about their own passports. One of the things that American citizens don't know, that passports are a privilege, not a right. You do not have the right to have a passport in the United States. It's a privilege. They can give it, they can take it away. And because of that, we're going to talk about some of the things that can cause your passport to be revoked. In other words, frozen until you get whatever it is resolved. So if you're applying for a passport, you may want to listen to this. If you got a friend that's applying for a passport or a family member, you might want to listen to this one. And if you're an individual that might be thinking about getting your passport renewed in the next few years, you definitely want to listen to this particular broadcast. Of course, we're going to have some videos. But first of all, before we do that, I'm going to go over my 10 reasons why you can have your passport frozen, revoked, and your application rejected. Shout out to all you guys and ladies that are here with Andrea and Andrea Love Crossing Borders. We got a great topic tonight, and I hope you guys appreciate the information. Once again, bring pen in hand, gentlemen, ladies. Bring pen in hand. You're going to need it, or just watch the replay. Well, we got the shout out music going. Let's get the shout outs going. Shout out to all you guys that are here. Starting my man Don, aka Don the JP, in the building. Shout out to you being here, kind sir. My man KG representing. Appreciate you being here. As well as my man Jay Anderson, the great, ladies and gentlemen, the great. Salute to Dre and family, the chat, because here we already know chat lives matter on this channel. He say, hope all of you are doing great and having a wonderful Sunday. Just here with my daughter, eating pizza and wings. That's a good thing. Family time. And eating some pizza and wings. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I ain't mad at you, brother. I am not mad at you. In hand. In hand. Wings in hand. Shout out to you, Jay Anderson. My man TJ in the building as well. Appreciate you being here. Blessings to you as well. And my boy Kenny People, who always sends me some great subject matters to glean from. El Patron is in the building as well, representing. Salute to you as well, kind sir. Salute to you. And my man I am, or AM, collecting data. He said, I ain't doing nothing but collecting data, kind folks. He said, hell yes, we live happy and catch these streams. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. Glad to see you being here. Buenas noches to you as well. Shout out to you. And my brother, big brother in life is here representing in the year of our Lord 2025. Appreciate you being here. As well as my man T-Mac. Them California boys showing some love to the West Coast. Shout out to you West Coasters out there, all you guys out there from the dirty South. All you Florida boys.
813, Trigger City, let's get it.
Chi-Town is in the building always.
And you say Shot City, Shot City, Shot City. Coming home again.
And we cannot forget about them Texas boys. And also our Canadian brothers and sisters to the north.
I told this guy where I was from. He said, oh, Canada.
Shout out to the Mega Maniac being in the building. Appreciate you, brother, for being here. Glad that you're here this evening. Once again, tonight's topic is about how a person can get their passport frozen and or revoked. We're also going to be talking about how the rich are leaving in masses. You know, usually rich people kind of like threaten to leave. If so-and-so is elected, I'm leaving. Well, this go around in the United States as well as the UK, the rich didn't care who got elected, Kamala or Donald. Could have been either one. The rich said, I'm up out of here. No matter who gets in. We're going to see how that trend is going so far. Chalupe is in the building. Shout out to you, brother. He said, follow the law until you can exit the matrix. Yes, sir.
We in Tampa.
Shout out to you. I hit the wrong one either way.
Let's get it.
And shout out to you being here. T-Mac said, that's why I agree with the nomad capitalist. Shout out to him. Shout out to the nomad capitalist about having multiple passports. Absolutely correct. If you can get, I don't care if you can get your passport from Africa, from the native land, the motherland. I don't care if you're like me, if you're on your way to citizenship in another country. It is so sad that we can't even just lean on just having one passport. You got to lean on having 2 or 3 passports the way this world is getting set up right now. Frankie got that bag. Shout out to you, Frankie, being in the building. Will they freeze my passport for trying to buy, for being a dope? Yeah. If you're trying to buy it, they will freeze it for being one as well. Yes, sir. Shout out to my man Will Page in the building. He said, what's good, Dre, in chat room? Chat lives matter. Shout out to Ricky Powell. Shout out to you being here. Hello, Andre. Frozen passports, yes, they will freeze and reject applications, and as well as revoke passports. A lot of times we think because we got our passport that our passport cannot be revoked, and it actually can. And there are several reasons why your passport can be revoked, application rejected, or your passport is frozen. So we're going to talk about that this evening. Yes, sir. Shout out to my man DJ Davis. Nice threads today, Dre. Nice threads. Thank you kindly, kind sir. I try to keep it clean for us. Try to keep it serious. Shout out to my man Chad Tyrone in the building. Shout out to you being here. My man Garfield Lawson, of the Lawson family, first of his name. Shout out to you, Garfield, being here. Hey, everyone. And my man Tony Tone got a heart of stone. Brothers tried knocking, but he wasn't home in the building. Shout out to you being here. T-Mac said, man, I'm coming back to Medellin in a few days. Countdown, countdown. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Yes, sir. I ain't mad at you, brother. As well as my man Paper Route is in the building. Yes, sir. I must be doing something right tonight. My boy Paper Route is here. You say the new American dream is becoming an expat. Tis true, my friend. Tis true. I wish I could lie and say it was something else, but that is the new American dream for many people. He said, go where you're treated best with a capital B, gentlemen. Do not forget the capital B. Yes, sir. Shout out to you. He said, Chulupe says this. He said, they can take your passport when you enter the country as well at the airport. Yep. They can make any changes when it comes to American passports at any point in time they want. Yes, they can. It is a privilege, gentlemen. It is not a right. I know a lot of us know we got a lot of rights in the United States as well as outside the United States as far as citizens, but having a passport is not a right, is not constitutional, is not part of any type of amendments. So at the end of the day, they can revoke, freeze, or reject a person's passport. We're going to talk about those today. And my man Montrez, once again, of the Montgomery family in the building. He said, what's going on, Dre? He said, I hope you and Andrea Harvey doing a great and well. Well, Andrea is spending time with the family every Sunday. Andrea goes to church, or we go to church together. And then Andrea spends most of the day with the family, you know, her mom's side and her dad's side, especially her dad, because her dad's side, because her, you know, you got a 95-year-old grandma, you try to spend as much time with grandma as possible. And with Latin people, the older you get, the more they want to spend some time with you when you're in a good family. Shout out to my man Brett being in the building, of the Ross family. First of his name in the year of our Lord, 2025. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being here. Like I said, we're going to have the video set up in a second. But until then, we're going to go over the list. We're going to change the music up. That was the intro music for all the guys that are here. We got 56 people in the building. Click that like button. I like you. Make sure you like us too, because when you click that button on our channel, this is what happens.
Oprah coming next. Once I establish this as the place of truth, oh yeah.
You say, that's what I love about South American families. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That togetherness, man. Every time she goes to see the family, they always asking about me. How's Andre doing? What is Andre up to? Yep. Let me change the music for us, guys. It is something a little different. Let me see what we got up here. Let me see what I can play for us. Okay, yeah, let's keep it smooth. Let's keep it grown, man. All right. Shout out to you guys that are here. All right, let's get ready to get started with the list, and then we're going to get into the videos. The top 10 reasons why you could get one of these revoked, frozen, or you just could get rejected. Number one thing that keeps a person from getting their passport is this. You ready? You might want to write these down. Number one, Number one reason why most Americans do not have a passport is because of most Americans. I'll say that one again. Number one reason why most Americans do not have their passport is because of most Americans. It's because of you. It's because of me. Nobody's holding us back from going to get applications. Nobody's holding us back from filling out it's only $160 something, $65 to get a passport in the United States. We will buy a pair of Jordans. We would spend Black Friday buying new products, but never spend Black Friday at the post office getting a passport. Most countries appreciate having a passport, and Americans are one of the few major countries that most of our citizens don't even have a passport. So number one is us. There is nothing else that holds or rejects or freezes or limits an American citizen from having a passport more than an American citizen. There is nothing on this list that's greater or more powerful that's holding American citizens from getting a passport. It's not politicians. It's not race. It's not economics. It's not even gender. For the most part, we're going to get into that. It is because you are not getting off of your tail and applying for your passport. You got a driver's license? Check. You got your ID? We're going to talk about the new IDs that's supposed to be, you guys need to have in the States. We're going to talk about that. You got your ID, you got your driver's license, you got your social security card. How the hell is it that you passport? Could you answer me that? Riddle me that, Batman. Riddle me that. So the number one reason why most Americans don't have a passport is because of most Americans. You cannot blame Trump or Biden for this one. It was not Kamala's fault that you don't have a passport by now. You can't blame the economy. You can't blame your job. You can't say you don't make enough money to get $135 to the $165 to get a passport. And we've been talking about passports for what, 7 years? Other YouTubers been telling y'all to get y'all passports for what, 10 years? Tailor-Made Dreams, Flyboy Way, Ace Live, Check in Effect. All the sisters all over YouTube been trying to tell y'all. TikTok wasn't even around when we were telling y'all, get your dang passports. Stop BSing around. What is it gonna take? What the first pandemic couldn't get you to get a passport. What is it going to take for you to go ahead and get your passport? If a pandemic couldn't do it, what is it going to take? You might not be, I got you, brother. I got you, sister. You might not use it today. You might not use it next year. But it may come a time in life where you're going to wish you had your passport. I told the story before. This is about good, man, it's got to be about 15, 20 years ago now. When I was married in the States, right? I was a stepdad. And I remember my stepson, he's going to Bethune-Cookman College, came back for spring break. Some of his friends and the family members were going to the UK. And the family members invited my stepson to go to UK, all expenses paid. But they were leaving that Monday. All expenses paid to the UK. And you're 16, you're 17, 18 years old. All he needed was a passport. Here was the problem. His mom and his stepdad knew so little about passports. We didn't even know that we could get one within 24 hours for the boy. We felt bad and sad. And even after that incident, guess what happened? We still didn't even get his passport. We didn't get his sister's passport. And I don't even know until today if those young people got their passports. I tell my stories to let you guys know. Make sure you and your loved ones got the passport, even though you may not be using it today. Make sure, I know young people passports expire every 5 years under the age of 16. I got it. Still get that child a passport. Stop buying that child a bunch of shoes. Get that child to a post office. Get that child down to CVS. Take a photo down to Walgreens. Take the passport photo, because that's all you got to do. Go to CVS or Walgreens. They literally take the passport photo for you. Make sure your child hair is down, because they can't have it in a bun or anything. If you got a 16 or 15-year-old daughter, make sure she doesn't have any makeup on, because they will reject her passport if she has makeup on or if her hair is in a bun. If she wears glasses or if she doesn't wear glasses, if he's wearing glasses or doesn't wear glasses, have those glasses off. Have those glasses off, because at the passport office or whenever they're using that passport, they're going to ask them to take their glasses off anyway. So make sure your young person has their glasses off. Get that child a dang passport, dad. You're a real dad, right? You've been doing all this stuff that you're supposed to be, mom. All you single mothers out there, talk about how great you are. If you're so great, get that child a passport. The number one reason why Americans do not have a passport is because of Americans. Nobody else. Get your family members a passport. Stop stalling. Let's put it like this. If I could go back in time with the knowledge that I have, and I was around my stepson, I would have made sure I got his passport, and I made sure that his sister had a passport. But since I'm not in their lives, I can't move forward with the knowledge that I have today. A lot of you guys ain't got that excuse. You're still in that young person's life today. Make sure that young person has a passport before this year ends. If you're going to buy that person a PlayStation 12, Xbox 19, and you haven't got your young person a passport yet, don't tell me you're a good parent. Don't tell me by buying toys and games for your child that you're the best of best parents and that child ain't got a passport. And the only way that child gonna know about passports is through you, dad, through you, mom. And if you don't have yours, what the hell is wrong with you? Oh, I don't never plan on leaving the country. I know you don't plan on leaving the plantation today. I don't know why y'all keep thinking America is so secure. It ain't. We just let in over the last 2-3 years, 10 million people. We know ICE is not going to gather up 10 million people. We ain't that stupid. They are not going to gather up 10 million people. Do you think of the ones that's left, all of them love America? So you ain't nobody that's trying to do some harm to our country came through those borders of Mexico. So everybody was just a fan of America that came through those borders through Mexico. Or we still got some 9/11 fools that ran through those borders. The other thing that could happen, another pandemic. And a lot of y'all gonna get stuck this go round, and y'all gonna keep losing family members. And the family member that might get lost, and I'm not scared mongering, and the family member that might get lost might be you. Get your passports. So when it's time to get the hell up, and get your kids' passports. So when it's time to get the hell up out of there, you and your special person, your special lady, and the kids can get the hell up out of there. Or if y'all only just vacationing and discovering other locations, just be able to get out and just discover other parts of the world. Let your kids know something more than what you knew as a kid. I'm gonna say that again. Let your kids know something more than what we knew as kids. All this stuff we got to learn as grown folks. Other than you military brothers, us mere mortals, us average citizens, we got to learn all this as grown folk in our 40s, 50s, and 60s. Let your kids learn it at 16, 21, 19, 23. Number one cause of Americans having their passports frozen is Americans not applying. Number two reason is child support. Child support is the number two reason why you can have your passport frozen, your application rejected, and you won't be able to get it. Child support. Can I still get my passport, Dre, and owe child support? Yes. I don't care who says no. Yes. I know plenty of people. Yes. Anything I say tonight, I'm going to say this right out the gate. Anything I say tonight, I know people who have already experienced this, and I've met them in this country as well as other countries. So anything I tell you guys tonight, these are factual things. These ain't guesstimates. This ain't, well, Andre's saying it, but the other person's saying this. I'm going to tell you now, anything you hear me say, I've said it for years. This is just an annual recap of this particular topic that we do every year. So at the end of the day, can you get a passport if you owe back child support? Yes. As long as that amount is less than $1,000 a month. I mean, $1,000, I'm sorry, of back pay. I said $1,000 a month, but $1,000 in back pay. Yes, if you go to the State Department's website, it says what? As long as you're under $2,500. That's not true. I'm gonna say that again. Don't look at that. So as long as you get your child support payments under $2,500, you get your passport. No, you can't. You can't. That's what the federal government is saying. The states say, and I looked it up, remember I used to say that Florida was like $750 and Michigan was $1,000? It's changed now. The requirements across the board in every state is your child support back pay or rearage must be, I don't care if it's $1, I don't care if it's 99 cents, must be under $1,000. The moment that you get your back pay under $1,000, apply for your passport. I'll say that again. Soon as you get under 1,000, mom, dad, apply for your passport. Because what's happening right now, your passport application is locked up. And I know a brother, his passport, he's applied for his passport, did everything just right. Child support froze his passport. He called his caseworker. He asked, how much did I owe? She said, you owe $1,300. He made that $300 payment, called back the, true story, called back the caseworker. Within the matter of hours, his passport had been approved. Because the caseworker knew who to contact as far as the State Department was concerned to unlock that dude's passport. So you think your caseworker don't know stuff. Stop being scared of your caseworker. She already know that you owe more than 1,000. Don't act like you, she don't care if you didn't see your child or not. That ain't her job. Some of y'all feel so bad because you ain't seen your child in a while. You back there, man, I can't call my caseworker. Stop being a coward, brother. Call the caseworker. Well, I know who my caseworker is. Call the department down there, whatever your city is, whatever your state title for child support. You know what that is. Call that office, find out who your caseworker is, give your child or children's name, talk to them, find out what your overpay or your rearage is that you need to pay on child support. If you owe $3,000 in child support, now you know, okay, I owe $3,000. Let me go ahead and start the journey. I don't care if it's $25 extra a month. Let me go ahead and start the journey of getting it down under 1,000. Once you get it down under 1,000, call back the caseworker. She sees that. She calls the State Department like she did for my man, and you can get your passport. Same thing with my Uncle Ghostface. Y'all see Jeffrey is down here all the time. I told Jeffrey this. He went, contacted the State Department in Michigan, found out what his back pay was, even though his children are adults with kids. Well, imagine you're a granddaddy still paying child support. Found out that it wasn't much, got it under $1,000. Jeffrey got his passport. He's been coming down here to Cali, Colombia for the longest. So anybody that tries to tell me, well, you can't have, yeah, well, my uncle's been doing it, and I know plenty of other dudes that's been having paying child support and yet have their passport. But that back pay has to be less than $1,000, guys. That's the number 2 way your passport can be frozen, your application can be rejected, or your passport can be revoked. Number 3, felons. Those damn felons. Can you get a passport as a felon? The quick answer is yes. Your boy wouldn't be on the side of this camera if you could do. I got more numbers than a parking lot. I got Fed numbers, I got state numbers, I got city numbers. I was out there doing crimes. I wasn't doing crime, I was plural crimes. I got federal numbers, state numbers, city numbers. I'm out there criming my ass off. If anybody they should have gave a passport to, it should have been me. I had every felony you can think of. I had misdemeanors out there, traffic tickets out there. You name it, I had it going on. And I got a passport. Cleaned up all the traffic tickets, of course. Made sure I had no more misdemeanors. And I already did the felonies. No more court cases. I got my passport and living my life. Okay, Dre, then what crime can you not get a pass? What keeps you away from getting a passport as a felon, Dre? Talk to me. Well, here we go. You want to hear it? Here we go. You ready? First things first. If you committed a crime using your passport, you cannot get your passport back. If you committed a crime, whether it was international drug crime, embezzlement crime, whether it was a money laundering crime, whatever you were doing a crime with and it involved using your passport, you will not be able to get another passport. You can forget about that one. You out there in the streets flying to Colombia back in the 90s. You all in Bolivia. You buying gold in Peru. Then you won't be able to get your passport back. But if you were doing crimes and it had nothing to do with international affairs, you can get your passport. Most felons could get their 98% of felons could get their passport. I'll say that again. State, juvenile center, doesn't matter. Most of us could. It's kind of crazy. They will take away your right to vote, but they don't take away your passport. Second reason when it comes to feds, you won't be able to get your passport. You are either on parole, probation, house arrest. I've been on all three. Once you get off of house arrest, you can get your passport. Once you get off parole, you can get your passport. Like I said, I've been on all three, so I know. Once you get off parole or probation, the other one, you can get your passport. Remember I told you I've been state, fed, and city as far as crimes. You can get your passport. The other thing that could hold you back from getting your passport is if you're currently fighting a felony case, not a civil case, a felony case. If you're currently, right now, you're dealing with some felonies. Now, if you got a bunch of traffic tickets, that's misdemeanors. Even if they put a warrant out for you, that's misdemeanors. But if you got a felony case or a felony warrant looking for you, you can't get your passport. And they will freeze your passport if you already have it. So as soon as you get that case taken care of, you can get your passport back. Whether you were found not guilty or whether you were found guilty, whether you did the time like I did and many other guys, you did your time. A lot of you guys in the comment section, you told your stories about how you did your time, you got your passport, and now you're traveling. It's no big deal, guys. Get off of probation. Once you get off parole, once you get off house arrest, you ain't got nothing else to do anyway. Once you get off work, once you get off that ankle bracelet, go get your passport. You get your Social Security card, your state ID, your driver's license. Why you ain't got your passport? I'm serious. Why you ain't got it? What lie your mama told, your single mother told you? The same one my mother probably told me about not needing your passport as a black man because you from the hood. What lie did your mama tell you? Probably the same lie my mama told me. Yep, I heard that one too. Get your passport. You're a grown-ass man. Get your passport. I'm serious. As a black man, you are grown. You are not somebody's child no more. Get a passport. And more black men need to start preaching the gospel of having a passport. When I go to the States, my state ID is expired. My driver's license been expired. I don't plan on driving in the States anymore anyway. I'll be Ubering everywhere. But when I'm in the States and they say, well, who are you? I pull out my passport. It's just as valid as all the other forms of ID. A felon can get his passport. Let's go to number. We did number 4 already. Crimes with your passport. Crimes with passport can hold you back. So if you do any international crimes using your passport, yes, that will hold you back from getting your passport, and your passport can be revoked. Shout out to my man D-May. He said out there criming is next level. Just out there crime. Man, I was out there criming to be criming. I was like, man, I was bored, man. Let me go and take my butt out there and commit another crime. I had so many speeding tickets, man. They knew me by first name. Andre, are you back again? I didn't learn to slow down on the tickets until I got here to Colombia. Then Andre had to put me in check. Oh, you're gonna keep getting all these tickets. What? Don't what me. We ain't gonna be paying these speed tickets, Andre. Slow down. This Colombia. All right. This Colombia. All right. I got, since I've been here, I probably got about 3 tickets. After that, I was like, okay, enough is enough. Andre is right. Let me slow it down. Let me act like I got some sense in my head. I am in another country. Habits must be broken. You said they would freeze up your passport. Trying to buy. Trying to do something internationally. They will definitely freeze it. Shout out to you. Shout out to Neo being in the building. He said, good evening. He said, y'all, Mexico has recently updated its requirements for passport holders traveling there. You now need to fill out a form to enter the country. It's the same thing in Cuba. Cuba's the same way. When you go to Cuba, if after Trump, y'all can go back to Cuba. You know, Trump, I don't know why Trump got something against Cuba, but once you go to Cuba, there's a form that you fill out. It's like a really short form. You fill it out. And there's other countries that are like that too. Shout out to my man Globe Spinner in the building. He said, tuning in tonight. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you and Jermon being in the building. He said, what up, big brother? He said, chat room, chat lies, family. Chat lies matter. He said, my passport is good for another 8.5. Yes, sir. I think mine is good. I'm 2028. Remember, we're going to talk about another thing that gets your passport revoked in regards to what we were just talking about. We can actually skip down to that one. The next reason, number 5 reason why your passport can be revoked based off of what Jermon was just talking about. He said that he has 8.5 left. He has 8 left. Say that again. Jermon just said he has 8.5 years left on his passport. No, he doesn't. He only has 8 left. For those of you that know, you already know. You will not be entered or allowed to come into most countries in the world if you have 6 months left on your passport. So if they look at your passport and if there's not enough room to stamp, if you don't have at least, here we go. Y'all ready? Don't forget, this is very important. If you do not have 3, in some countries it's just 1, but if you don't have at least 3 blank pages, if there's not 3 blank pages on your passport, a lot of countries will not let you in. Most countries, if you do not have 6 months left, or if you, let's put it like this, if you have a 6-month window until your passport officially expires, most countries are not going to let you in. Why? Because most countries allow you to stay in what? 6 months. They don't want you to be stranded in their country with an expired passport. So most countries are like, nah, bruh. We see your passport you're about to expire in 6 months. You can go and take this passport back to where you got it from. Most countries are not going to let you use that half, that 8.5. So remember that, gentlemen. If you have 1 to 3 pages left, get a new passport. If you only have 6 months left on your date, make sure you start applying 9 months ahead of time. Don't wait until that date come up, because y'all gonna be highly disappointed. There's gonna be some of y'all mad. You done bought your ticket to DR, or you bought your ticket to Colombia or to the Philippines. You got your Airbnb set up. You think you ready? You about to do some ish. I'm about to party with my dogs. And you can't even get into these countries. Why? Because you only got 6 months left on your passport, and most of these countries will not let you in with only 6 months left. Don't you ever forget that, gentlemen. Don't you ever forget that one. If you only got 3 pages left or 1 page left, some countries are 1 page, other countries are 3 pages. And if you only have 6 months left, don't play with it. Don't play with it. Number 6 reason why you could get your passport rejected or frozen immediately. Back taxes. I said it. IRS, they monitor your passport just like child support does. And if you owe a particular level of back taxes, the IRS is coming for you and that passport. Well, Dre, what's the level? Pray tell. Well, I got that for you. Let's go to the IRS website right now. Why not? Who am I to just talk? Who am I to just be talking? Well, we can just look it up on the IRS website. Let me blow this up just a little bit more if I can. Make this a little bit larger for you guys. Okay, here we go. In 2018, if you owed at least $51,000 in back taxes, you're going to get your passport frozen. 2019, if you owe 52, 2020, if you owe 53, 2021, if you owe 54, 2022, if you owe up to 55, 2023 was 59. And right now, if you owe completely over $62,000, the IRS says, we go take that passport, dog. Now, if you owe under these amounts, you're good. I'm going to say this again. If you owe under these amounts, the IRS ain't coming for you. They ain't got no time to be bothered with you. They ain't coming for you for your $8,000 that you still owe. They're not coming for you for your $25,000. They coming to you for no $15,000. Your passport is safe. But if you hit this threshold, the IRS said they are coming for you. What debts are certified by the State Department? And so this is on here. I'm going to drop the link for this right here so you guys can have it. Because there's a lot of good information on here. How does it work? The certifications, information on taxpayers applying for the renewing of their passports that have certified tax debt. We just talked about the amount, the $62,000 with the State Department. So what do? So let's go ahead and get this over to you guys right now. I'm going to drop the link. But if you're over the $62,000 threshold, here's what the IRS asks you to do. We're going to get to that, Montrez. I saw your comment. We're going to get to that today. So when it comes to the IRS, even if you're over 62, let's say you're at 62,000, let's say you're at 70,000, you owned a business in the past and it was in your name. And so all the debts are on you. Here's what happens, gentlemen. The IRS is willing to release your passport as long as you start making a payment plan towards that $62,000. So as long as you set up a payment plan and you owe 70, start paying towards it. Once you get under 62,000, you can get your passport. But you got to get under the 62,000. So even though you're making payments, you got to get under the 62,000. So like I said, all you guys that owe $12,000, $1,200, you good. You ain't got to worry about the IRS. But you do that owe like 62 and over, they can come for that passport. Will they? I don't know, but they can. Shout out to my man Montrez. He says this. He says, Dre, you got to have your real ID by May 7th, or you can't get on a plane if you don't have one. Absolutely correct. There are two ways. We talked about that in the video today we're going to be watching. By May 7th, gentlemen, you got to have that new ID that got the star, look like a Texas star on there. You got to have the new ID now. You can't just use your driver's license. It's the same way in Colombia. In Colombia, it's the exact same way. In Colombia, you have to have your ID, right? You got to have your ID, and you have to have and it's kind of funny, you got the same number, your driver's license. So when a police officer stop you, you'll get a ticket if you don't have your ID and you only have your driver's license. You got to have both in Colombia if you're going to be driving, of course. But if you're not driving, you got to have at least your ID. Same thing in the States now. They want you to have your real ID and they want you to have your driver's license. And now you cannot fly in the United States without, you can't fly from state to state without your real ID. Absolutely correct. With that star on it, you know, that star stamp on your ID. Unless, I want to say this again, unless you're using your passport. I can fly to any state I want to with my passport. I don't need to have a real ID. You do. You have to have a real ID because you don't have a passport. So you can fly with your real ID or you can fly with your passport. Those are the ways that you can fly from state to state. I'll say it again. Those are the only two ways after, just like my brother said, after May 7th, that's the only way that you're going to be able to fly from one state to another state, gentlemen. You know, like you fly, some of you guys catch a flight to you're in Kansas, and you might catch a flight to Houston, to fly to Panama, to get to Colombia, right? Well, that flight to Houston, if you ain't got a real ID or a passport, you might as well turn that plane around. Starting May 7th. He's absolutely correct. Shout out to you, Montrez. Good call. Good call. Shout out to my man Wade in the building. He said, this is the end of the U.S. Man, as soon as I start working remotely on my laptop, I'm ready to leave. Yes, sir. I ain't mad at you, brothers. Tone says this. He says, had a passport since 2006. Shout out to my man Tone. Almost on my third one now. Yes, sir. Count us. That's how you get your stamps in. Udoka is in the building. Shout out to you. Glad to see you here. Glad to see you're here. My man T-Mac, he said, my daughter got her passport 6 weeks at 6 weeks old. That's how we plan on doing it with our children. Absolutely correct. My daughter has a passport at 6 weeks old. It was the ugliest photo that she ever took because she was angry. What are we doing here, Dad? Who are these people? Why are my photos being taken? What are we doing, Dad? He said, do you know it is also crazy too? What is also crazy too, that the current president is banning 8 Caribbean countries. Is he? Wow. Y'all, man, Trump effing up the country, man. Y'all gonna be. Shout out to my man Brett. He said getting passport was one of the best investments I made in my life. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Stone me if you must, but point out where I lie. Stone me if you must, but point out where I lie. Shout
out to Jay Clyde. Jay Clyde, could you just imagine what our lives would be like if we didn't get our passports? Just imagine our lives. Oh, fellas, just think about it, man. What your life would be like if you hadn't got your pass. This thing, literally, other than my Bible, the 2 books that had the greatest impact on my life was my Bible and my passport. Kid you not, bruh. Both of them were life-changing. And I mean literally life-changing. I do not see how y'all do it, man, in the States, bro. I do not see how y'all just wander around life and you don't have a passport to get the hell out. There will come a day where Americans will wish and beg the government for a passport. There will come a day when the government says we are no longer giving out passports to those who already have, you're grandfathered in. But anybody else, or the day will come when they raise the cost of passports to $500 a passport. You think Trump ain't got the power to raise the price of the passport with an executive order? You think Trump don't sit back and think like, man, wait a minute. If Americans who claim they got money, you want a passport to go see other countries? That's going to be $500 a lick. Executive order. Boom. Elon, make sure we get that money. It's going to go toward the national deficit. You think that man you think that man ain't thought about that? Do you think his team haven't thought about raising the price of the passport on y'all? Y'all still got 4 more years of hell to live. I'm gonna say that again. I ain't gonna pretend like America's the land of the Shangri-La and running through the meadows in the field of happiness. That's BS. I'm gonna be honest with you. If that man sat back and raised the price of passports during his administration, I would not be surprised. Hell no, I wouldn't be surprised. They are looking for every leeway to make some extra money, and raising the price of passports to $500. Shh. What y'all gonna do about it? Okay, that's impossible, Andre. This man has shut down the Board of Education, brought back a form of segregation, fired over 11,000 Social Security workers when there weren't enough Social Security workers as it is. Shut down as much as he could and just dismantle many areas that could have helped veterans. You think he won't raise the price of a damn passport? That's why I love Americans. Because y'all always think ain't nothing gonna happen until it happens. You ever notice that about us? We always don't think something's gonna happen until it happens. Oh, they ain't gonna happen. 6 months later, oh man, this is more BS, man. Them people now. Now it's them people. When you was walking around with a mega hat on, talking about make America great again as a black man, which ain't never been great for a black man, but make America great again. Now he done gave you a $500 passport. Now you know. Get your passport now. You ain't got to worry about what's going on. At least if you get it now, you at least our passports, most of us, our passports are good past the Trump administration. My passport is good. My passport at least will survive the Trump administration. If you ain't got nothing in your arsenal that can survive the Trump administration, though most of us who got passports that are not about to expire in the middle of the administration, we good. I'm just saying. Y'all laugh at Trump, you want to. Y'all keep laughing at Trump, you want to. He said, I want to see if I can get a second passport. Oh, yeah, you can actually get a second passport as a U.S. citizen. We're going to look at that today. You have 2 passports as a U.S. citizen with the same passport number. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that you can actually have 2 blue books, same number, for a different reason. We're going to look at that today. He said, I already picked the country that I live permanently. He said, I am researching about it. He said, which is Southeast Asia. Yes, sir. Those are really nice area over there. Really nice over there. He said, what about speeding tickets, Drake? Hey, man, listen. I've slowed down. Because here in Colombia, they got, just like in the States, they got cameras everywhere. So I'll be sitting there, relaxed, and then Andre will walk in. You got a speeding ticket. When, dear? When? You got a speeding ticket last week on Wednesday. Going to the airport when you went to pick up one of the fellas from the airport. You were speeding down the freeway. Babe, you got a ticket. I'll pay it. Oh, yes, you will, Andre. You will pay it. So I've come to a conclusion, slow down when I'm driving here in Colombia, because they don't have to have a cop on every corner, because they've got cameras and they will send it to you. It's an app too, because Colombia don't have mailboxes, so they're not going to send it in the mail. It's an app that you go to, and that app will tell you, yep, you got a speeding ticket. You out there in them streets acting up. Shout out to Bert once again. You say, do you think that the U.S. State Department is going to stop people from getting their? No, I don't think they're going to go that far because they got too many rich cronies that use their passport. Too many corporations that have employees around the world. Passports are, let's put it like this, a huge percentage, huge percentage of people that use passports, it's not for leisure. I think it's like a third of all passport users from the United States are because of job opportunities that they're taking advantage of because their company has them here or have them there. The other group is, another large group is our military brothers and sisters. So for the most part, the U.S. passport is not going to go anywhere because it's used by the military and it's used by corporations. And then the rest of us kind of fall in, the expats, the digital nomads, the passport bros and sisters, the leisure travelers. We fall in kind of like in the back. But for the most part, the big chunk of it is either our military brothers and sisters or individuals that work for a company overseas or the company is overseas. And that person, for example, let's say I'm in the States and I get hired for a job in Ireland. And they say, all expenses paid, Andre, just move to Ireland. We need your skills. So I get my passport and I move to Ireland. But there's also government contract work. We're going to talk about that tonight. Government contract workers that work for a U.S. business, but they need that person employee to work in their international division. So instead of working for the U.S. division at the headquarters, you work at their division in Istanbul or wherever it may be, in Kuwait, Qatar. So it's little things like that. Little things like that. He said never got ordered to pay child support because I paid voluntarily. He said, but when my kids wanted to stay with me, the mother paid zero. Shout out to mom. Shout out to the kids. Shout out to dad. He said court originally gave me majority custody and she had weekends. Shout out to my man Rolling Travelers in the building. Shout out to you. He said, what's good, nephew? Shout out to you, brother. Yep, Jeffrey, my uncle's in the building, confirming what I said about him. Made sure he got under a certain amount of child support. Took care of that once he got up under that $1,000 threshold. Got his passport and been traveling to Colombia for the longest. He's perfect example of what I was saying earlier. Perfect example. Shout out to my man YouTube in the building. And my man TJ representing as well. D-May as well. D-May say you was cramming. Yes, sir. Cramming. EMB is in the building. Shout out to you, brother. Buenas noches. Good evening to you too. He said you can fill out the form with the Department of Treasury to visit Cuba legally. Oh, that's cool. That's what's up. That's what's up. I didn't know that. See, I was born in Cuba during the Biden administration, so it was easy for all of us. Mad Felony is in the building. He talking about getting a second and third passport. Yes, sir. I mean, as Clyde said, he said, I had to get a new passport because I ran out of pages with 3 years to spare. And that's what we were talking about earlier. Thank you very much, Jay Clyde. That's what we were talking about earlier. Make sure that if you only have a few pages left, that's a reason why a country won't accept you as well. So once you get down to like, if you were me, once you get down like 5 pages, start the process of looking for your get a new passport. Or once you get close to them 6 months, I'm telling y'all, don't think I'm playing. See, some of y'all hard head. You've been laying your head on that Colombiana's breast for 3 years. So now you want to go back to Colombia because you like to lay on her breast, and you only got 6 months left on that passport. And all of us in the comment section told you, get your passport process renewed right around 9 months before. But you so think about that coochie in Colombia, you ain't listen to none of what we said. So now here you go. You about to skip your little happy tail to the airport. La, 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 la. You Smurfied in a month, right? You Smurfy. Put your passport down on that counter and step back, because that's what you always did, right? And they looked at the fact that you got 6 months left, and they slid that passport back to you and said, you can take that on back where you got it from, partner. You ain't going nowhere. Why? Colombia ain't gonna let you in with only 6 months left, player. But I want to go fall asleep on some Colombian breasts. You better dream about it, because until you get your passport renewed, you ain't gonna be laying on a Colombian breast. You better get some Colombians in this country. So stop being hard-headed, stop being ornery, stop being immature. If you know that you're coming up on a 9-month window, get your passport renewed. It is just as easy as it was to get your passport. And if you live in certain cities or close to certain cities like Miami or your State Department, you can get it overnight. Pay the extra fee. You can get the same day or you get it overnight. But at least stop waiting to the last minute. Stop acting like you a single mama. Stop acting like our single mothers. Act like you got some sense in your head. You said my mama ain't had no sense in her head. She had you, didn't she? As irresponsible as you acting with your passport, I can imagine how irresponsible you act in other areas of life. Get your passport renewed. Be a man about yours, man. Y'all always want to be mesmerized by the women in the other countries so much you forget about the responsibility side. There's a business side to traveling, guys. There's a business side to traveling. Shout out to you. He said there are certain reasons that allowed to visit Cuba. Okay, cool. T-Mac said credit cards leave a trail. If I go, I would use my Colombian cards. Yeah, I got my Colombian cards too. Shout out to you guys. Okay, let me scroll down. I think I got everybody. Shout out to Theo being in the building. Appreciate you, brother Theo. I don't know if Theo recognized if I was in class or not today, but yes, I was. I was in class today, taking notes and everything. Shout out to Theo. He said, I'm bringing Chewy with me. You can do that as well. Yes, sir. He said he will be devoted. He will devour anyone who checks for my ID or passport. He said modern problems require modern solutions. Shout out to Chewy. Shout out to Chewy. And my boy Black Nubian in the building, Canadian boys.
I told this guy where I was from. He said,
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you gentlemen being here. And my man Capricorn Way. I must be doing something right tonight. Because we got my man for Profit Store in the building as well. He's have to renew my passport. Yes, sir, man. Sometimes we got to do these live streams as a reminder for all of us. I had to look some of this stuff up lately, man. So that's why I know so much about it. I had to really, every year when I do this particular episode, I have to look up to make sure all the information that I know is up to date. Because I don't want to be sharing information from when we first started doing YouTube in 2019. I'm telling you information about 2019 when things may have changed. So I had to update my knowledge in regards to what's going on with the passport. Let's go to the next one. I think I went on number 7. Number 7, the reason why you can have your passport revoked, gentlemen, is you owe the U.S. Embassy. Yes. If you're one of those guys that you were in another country, you lost your passport, they paid for your bus ride to get a passport, they paid for you to go to Bogota. Then you got something happen, you got drugged or whatever it is, you ain't had no money, and you went to the U.S. Embassy, they gave you some money to fly home, and they paid for that flight. You owe that money. I don't think y'all realize if the U.S. Embassy look out for you, you owe that money. That $100 and something that a passport usually costs, you owe that money back. That flight back home to the States, you owe that money back. You ain't got nowhere to live until the flight leaves, and they make sure you got a place to stay. You owe that money back. If you do not pay or set up payments with the U.S. Embassy or the State Department, whichever one that made sure that you got back home safely or made sure you got a passport, and you don't pay that back, you can get your passport frozen or revoked. You think you be skipping it to DR again? You ain't skipping to no DR. And it may be like for $300, you may owe the federal government $300 for looking out for you when you got robbed in Colombia. And you forgot all about that money because it was only $300. You skipped your butt up there smurfing, walking with your passport in hand in the airport in Miami. You slide it on that counter and they slide it right back to you. They use that passport. Well, why, ma'am? You still owe $300 to the embassy, dog. What? Remember, you got drugged, all your information pop up. If you owe the State Department / the embassy for looking out for you for, in other words, an emergency funds, you got to pay those emergency funds back when you get to the house, dog. I don't know, a lot of y'all don't realize that, but yes, you do. And that can get your passport frozen. Let's go to the next one. You didn't put the right information on the application. I think that's number 8 or number 9. That might be number 9. Number 9, you didn't put the right information on the application. LGBTQ transgenders are going through hell because of this. They've literally frozen in the United States, not just because of the Trump administration, but because of there are so many people that are transgender now. They are freezing, well, actually have frozen anybody that's transgender trying to use a passport. They've got to come up with a new plan on how they go about structuring transgender passports around the world. This is something new. Transgender surgeries are new. And so now you got a person that can legally put female on there when it was male. What the hell? Your name used to be Bruce, now it's Barbara, it's legally Barbara, but your passport still says Bruce. The federal government just says F it. Just recently, they just were like, F it, we freezing all transgender passports. Y'all ain't if you transgender, you can't use your passport until we get this sorted out. It's sad, but that's what's going on. Wrong information on an application. So it is for some of you guys that you put, my name is so-and-so, but you forget to put the junior on there, or you're so-and-so, and you got a junior as a son, but you forget to put that you're so-and-so senior. You're Martin Luther King Sr. But if you forget to put that senior on there, people will assume that you are junior. And your passport can be frozen or your application can be rejected just because of the difference between senior and junior. Maybe 1 or 2 might slide through, but for the most part, it's the wrong information on the application that can slow you down. Last one we're going to look at until we get to the video, and then we're going to get to the videos. As I just was talking about, the gender change. That's number 10. Those that are in the LGBTQ / transgender world are going through hell right now because their passports are automatically being rejected. The applications rejected. Even though they've legally got their gender changed, they're legally got their names changed, everything lines up past, they've got their birth certificates. Hey, babe, how's everybody going? How's everything going? Sleepy boo. And they've gotten everything that they need as far as documentation. U.S. State Department don't care. They still rejecting people of transgender and locking up their old passports. So if you were you're Martha now, and Martha, you used to be Bruce Wayne, doesn't matter. They're locking up that Bruce. Because you can't sit back and say, well, I'll just use my Bruce Wayne passport since y'all won't let me have one under Martha Wayne. It's kind of creepy how I did that because come to think of it, Bruce Wayne, mama was named Martha. So maybe I should have used a different name. But my point is, you can't go back and say, well, I'm gonna just use my male passport. No, they're locking that up. They're locking that up. It's sad what's going on with the transgender individuals out there. You might not agree with transgender movement, but I don't agree with anybody not being able to take advantage of using a passport. I don't care who they are. Unless it's somebody that's, doing something dangerous to others. Shout out to my man Jay. Once again, he said, I got my Pensionado visa for Panama. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. Felipe said that, speaking of Trump, he's banning Caribbean countries that allow you to buy citizens. Like Saint Lucia, Dominica. Trump hating on the people. Wow. He out here hating. Talk to my man Andrew in the building. He said, I had a passport since 2011. Smartest thing that I did during the pandemic was to renew my passport. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How much is U.S. How much is what? 165 right about now? Right now it's like 165 for the U.S. passport. Dave says right now is it? It's 255 per pass in the States. He said I was going to buy St. Lucia, but Trump messed it up. St. Lucia's a good one, man. He can't stop all the tax havens. I don't know why he trying to pretend. If passports were $1,000, I would still have one. Man, if you don't preach, I would still have one without a doubt. With hands down. Passports are now officially $1,000. Here you go. Let me go ahead and tear that off real quick. Don't take that Thowie. Let me get that passport. Trump will raise the price of passports so he can give tax cuts to his cronies or homies. Yep. That's so true. So true. Looks like I got everybody as far as just basic comments. Shout out to you guys that have that have donated by way of super chats. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody on PayPal. Shout out to my man Larry Shelton. I think I missed Larry yesterday with a $10. Larry says it's unfortunate how the U.S. Socialized brainwashes us, Andre. Larry is 100% correct. Shout out to Larry. 100% correct. When you think you know, there's so much you don't know. Shout out to my man Fearless Conversations in the building. Appreciate you being here, brother. He said, I was at the airport getting ready to go to Colombia, and they said that you can't go to Colombia. Why is this, pray tell? You have 6 months left on your passport. Go renew your passport in 9 months, guys. Don't wait. Thank you, brother, for your testimony. Thank you. They be thinking I be saying stuff just to be saying it, Fearless. Thank you. Yeah, they will. They will have you standing in that passport looking, in that airport looking crazy in the face. Shout out to my man Kenny. He said, hard head, make a soft. Yep. Absolutely. Shout out to my man Max in the building, them Indiana boys. Shout out to you, and shout out to my man T-Mac with the $10 love. Appreciate you, brother. Always showing some love. Man, Max said this. He said, I met an American. He said, I met an American in Cali who lived in France and was a rep of Adidas, a representative of Adidas. When he opened his passport, the a credanda pages fell out on the floor. I wonder what page there. Man, he must have had an old passport or a beat up passport. A lot of times they won't even let you fly if there's a rip on your passport. That's another thing, guys. Protect your passport. There are countries that if they see a tear on your passport, and I mean there are a lot of countries, if they see a tear on one of your pages, you can't get in. There are countries that are like that. And I mean quite a few, not every, but a lot. I've seen a lot of testimonies, man, while I was doing research for this, of people not being able to go into certain countries because it was a small tear on one of their passport pages. So you might want to get a passport protection, one of those passport little bags or something to protect your passport when you're not using it. DJ say, confiscate the blue book right on the spot. Yes, they will. You only got 6 months left. You be mad at yourself. Yeah, Bruce Jenner having all the problems. Absolutely correct. Yeah, it's crazy, man. When the video we watch, we're gonna see an incident of that happen where a guy was mad, man. Or a lady was mad. She was walking out the State Department office. She was mad because she had transgender change, and because of that, Wade also said, also the crazy news, Europe is boycotting the U.S. So I'm not sure that the U.S. citizens are still going to be able to travel to Europe if they want to visit Europe or even move there. Yeah, it's crazy. It depends, of course, depends on the country, which country, but yeah. Yeah, that transgender, man. Crazy. My man David says this. Big up Dre. He said he tried to purchase the book. Definitely helped. He said big up Dre. He said just purchase. Did I not ask you guys? Do not buy the book until I get my copy. I want to get see, I'm out of the country, even though mine's are in the mail, so I should get mine. Oh, mine should be here next week anyway. I want to get my copy first. Y'all in the States. Y'all will have y'all copy in 2 days. He say definitely helps with the move overseas. Appreciate you, Dave. Appreciate you. Man, Villain, he said, yet Trump wants us to buy $5 million gold card for our citizenship. Yeah, man, that's crazy. That is crazy. Don't worry about what book yet, Jay. Don't worry about the book. No, I'm not going to say that. Let me pull up the book for you guys. And I'll pull up the hard copy. Let me pull up the hard copy so you guys can see what we're talking about. There we go. This right here is the hard copy of the book. The soft copy is $10 less. Let me screen share. All right, I'm asking guys to wait until next week, David, to order the book. So yes, right now, if I go back, you can order the ebook. You can order the ebook, which is a great discount that I'm giving you right now, 75% off. You can order the soft copy. That's a hard copy right there for $49. And here is the soft copy right here. Anywhere possible. This is the book that it took me about quite a few years to write and put everything together, letting individuals know that they can live in over 60% of the world's upper middle class. We're going to continue to look at countries. We've already looked at 10 countries, going to look at 10 more countries where you can live in the upper middle class for less than $2,500 to $3,000 a month. And that's what the book is about. I'll show you exactly what steps you need to take to be able to do that, where to live, how to structure your budget, How to create streams of income. Shout out to Theo. Navigating visa and other logistics for a new country, and building a new community. No use of going to a new country. You don't build a new life. And so I show you all the steps on how to do that in the book called Anywhere is Possible. I got to make sure I change that right there. We do that now. Let me do that now. I'll wait till after. So the book Anywhere is Possible is our first official passport bro book that we could say that we have all inputted inside, because a lot of stuff I gleaned off of you guys as well, and you guys gave suggestions on what chapters should be and things like that. So Anywhere is Possible is an excellent read. It is over 345 pages of knowledge, step by step, that's going to help you out, as well as where to go to. It's one thing to talk about what to do, but I also put the information on where to go to, the websites, the links, all that stuff is in there. All the stuff I wish I had when I got ready to relocate to another country, or I was researching other countries. And remember, I wrote it from the perspective for those that want to relocate in the next 5 months, 5 years, or if you just plan on relocating in the next 15 years, you definitely want to get this book. Once again, you can get it in the ebook, you can get it in the hard copy, and you can get it in the paperback. But at least do your boy a favor, show me some love by at least waiting a week before you guys put in the order, so I can so I can get my copy in the mail first. Show your boy some love on that one. That's all I ask. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your support, definitely. But I just want to be able to have my tangible copy, and I can show it on the show and be excited just like you guys are. And the other book that's available that I've written is, let's go to Andre Spence Books, and the 44 Laws of Travel. That's the ebook that's there available right now. 44 Laws of Travel is available, and Bankrupting Bullshit in Your Life. That book is available. How to overcome the 28 days steps to overcoming excuses. Those are number one things that's holding you back, not your money. Your excuses are holding you back. That's how I accomplished everything that I've basically been able to accomplish thus far. Not letting my excuses hold me back. And what are our 4 areas of excuses? Fears, distractions, complacency, and discouragement. I'll show you within a 28-day period how you can overcome the excuses that hold you back from going to the gym, the excuses that hold you back from making money, the excuses that hold you back for when times get difficult. What do? It's easy to not use excuses when times are good, but when times get tight, how do you overcome your excuses that's going to hold you back? When it comes to traveling, you got an excuse for everything. That's why you ain't got your passport. Your excuses held you back from getting your passport and held you back from getting a passport for your kids. You got one, but your kids ain't got one. Why? Your excuses. Your excuses are not explanations. Explanations are not excuses. So I'll walk you through how to overcome your excuses. So we got the paperback, we've got the soft edition, and both of these books, just in case you guys don't realize that, let me pull this up, make sure I get this over to you guys as well. Let me pull this up and go here. Something I want to show you guys. The latest, I'm going to drop the link for this also. I'm going to share this. Right now, the latest that's on the Patreon right now. I dropped this the other day. This is a great video. This guy has been doing government contract work overseas as a regular U.S. citizen for the longest. So what I did just last week, I dropped this. Here are some of the latest spots that you can go to We haven't even talked about this. Some of the latest spots and the links on Patreon. Let me drop this down right quick. Share this with you guys. This is on Patreon right now. Share the Patreon links with you, gentlemen. Right now on the paid membership on Patreon, you have these locations right here. Of course, I got the links. Of course, I got the links for you. So all this information on how to get government contract work if you're a skilled worker. So if you're an electrician, if you're into IT, if you're a plumber, if you're a construction guy, there are some links for the Middle East, Europe, Asia, and other locations in Eastern Europe. How much they get paid on a regular basis, I have that there for you. How long the typical government contract job is, I've got that there for you. This is in the Patreon right now. Who hires or what type of recruiters are out there, have that for you. How to get hired, I've got that in there for you as well. Now I've got the links to each one. Now you've got at least 10 links to different locations that are hiring right now that are recruiters to help you find government contract work in other countries. So that is in the Patreon right now. The book, Bankrupting Bullshit in Your Life, the ebook is already on the Patreon for the $15 members on up, as well as anywhere possible. The book is already on the Patreon for the $15 members on up. The next book, 44 Laws of Travel, that is going into the Patreon for the $15 members on up as well. So they get the book already in advance, the whole thing. Just click the PDF right here. You get the whole book. Same thing with Bankrupting Bullshit. You get the whole book already there. It's already in the Patreon for you guys already to start reading and enjoy when you're the $15 members. So shout out to all you guys that are supporting us by way of Patreon. It really helps out a lot. It really does. And you know, we got all type of stuff in the Patreon as well, other things, you know, learn online jobs for overseas. I've got that for you. And of course, you know, excuse me, I've got the links for you for all the online jobs, Euro remote jobs in Europe, usjobs.com. So all these are links that are in the Patreon. And I think these links are for the guys that are $5 a month. What younger women wish older men knew, 10 things. I've got that in there in the Patreon, 10 things. For all you guys that are interested in dating younger women, these are things that younger women wish older men knew. 15 things. This is really good, man. This guy is good. 10 steps to why I don't worry when things don't work. And so I have that in there. Of course, I write an article for everyone in the Patreon. Here's Andrea giving you 6 steps to getting your Colombian visa. So just in case you were wondering, then we go back to the remote jobs. 15 steps, game plan for Passport Bros. So I'll give you 15 steps. Also in the Patreon, more remote work information. So I got your back, and I got the links. Of course, we gotta have the links, man. Gotta have the links. And this is how the book is set up too. I don't just talk about what you can do. I actually show you where to go, what to do, how to put together a game plan. And the last chapter of the book is a checklist. So you actually get a checklist. But let's get ready to go to the video, because we're here for the video as well. Oh man, Panama is nice, man. All you guys are going to Panama. Yes, sir. Yep. We looked at Panama, countries that you can live in the upper middle class for less than between $2,500 to $3,000 a month. When I say that, just in case, I want to let you guys know, give you a little bit of clarity. When you hear me say that you can live in 60% of the world, between 40 to 60% of the world, between $2,500 to $3,000 a month, this is what I mean. your housing, your food, your transportation, your utilities. I'm not talking about your party money. I'm not talking about your hanging out money. I'm not talking about your life insurance or medical insurance or things like that. I'm talking about your basic necessity needs. You can live in the upper middle class like we are. Your housing, your monthly food, your utilities, and your transportation. You can live in the upper middle class between $2,500 to $3,000 a month in 40 to 60% of the world. Why y'all still struggling in the United States, I don't get it. Other than the 4 F's: fear, family, finance, friends. Those are the only reason Americans stay in the United States: friends, family, finance, fear. Shout out to you guys. Let's get ready to go to the videos. Let me remove this. Let me remove that. And stop that from the screen. And let's add the video. First, we're going to look at the rich are planning to leave the United States.
Coming that could bring big changes to an airport experience just for you. Starting May 7th, all domestic travelers in the U.S. must have a state-issued ID card or a driver's license that complies with a new standard known as Real ID. To find out what that actually means, let's go to Chris Van Cleve at Reagan National Airport. Chris, good morning. What's going on?
Well, good morning, Nate. It's going to be the must-have item for summer travel. Come May 7th, you're going to need what's called a Real ID, and you're going to look for this star in the corner of a driver's license. That indicates you've got it. If you don't, you need to get one. This has been a long time coming. Congress mandated this change 20 years ago in the wake of 9/11 to make driver's licenses more secure.
After years of delays, starting May 7th, if you want to get past the security checkpoint and onto a domestic flight, you will need an updated Real ID. It'll have a star like this in the corner. The TSA is urging people to get it now.
The closer you get to that deadline, the harder it's going to be to get your Real ID, either whether you want to get a passport or you want to get your license, because there'll be longer lines.
And that happened in 2020 before the deadline was postponed due to the pandemic. And still years later, many Americans are not ready. In 2023, DHS estimated Real ID compliance was growing by 0.5% a month, putting it at around 70% by the May deadline. In Iowa, that means about 2 in every 10 driver's license holders don't have the right ID, says the state DOT.
If you don't have that gold star, it means that you do not have a Real ID compliant credential, and you need to come in and do that.
Getting one means a trip to the DMV. Typically, you'll need a valid ID, passport or birth certificate, proof of your social security number and date of birth, plus 2 items proving state residency.
You'll also need a Real ID to get into federal buildings that require you to show identification. A passport or active duty military ID will work as well, Nate.
You see what he just
All right, Chris,
said?
we're going to call you during the commercial break because we're
But you hear what he just said? A passport or a military ID will work as well. A passport.
not sure if we actually have a Real ID.
I just got a new license in December. I want to run and look in my purse. Do I have it?
Yeah, so we'll talk to Chris during the commercial break to figure it all out.
They say that if you don't have the Real ID by May, then you have to have your passport to fly. And it seems a little easier for me to get a passport renewed than to figure out a Real ID.
You should have had that. What's wrong with you?
What?
You're having a Real ID by now.
Are you serious right now?
Yeah.
You have one? Of course. Do you have a Real ID?
I think so.
Wait a second. What? Wait. F off. You guys all have Real IDs?
We all got the memo. It was necessary like 4 years ago.
Yeah, then they kept saying, never mind, it's fine. So you have, in addition to your driver's license, a separate ID?
A Real ID, yes.
Please sound off in the comments if you have a Real ID, because every time I saw those signs, then they would say the deadline has been extended. So I'm like, oh, this is fake. I just thought it was a complete scam. You all have one. Is it the same? Is it a separate
Your driver's license, it says Real ID.
What the f does that? What is that? Why?
We're just sheep. We were told and we follow.
Well, I'm Jewish. I have to be careful that it's not like they're starting the next Holocaust and this is how.
That is a good point.
I have to question everything.
Listen, while Trump is doing away with a lot of things, get this. Set your appointment right now. Get this. It is $165. Make the appointment with your local post office, passport agency, even the local library. Skip a bill or two, but get this. And I mean that with every bit of urgency that I have. Don't pass go, but yes, collect $200 and get this.
So these people just basically told me that the paperwork and the records that I have are not sufficient because I need some documentation from a state professional from the day that she was born.
So she's trying to get her child's passport without a birth certificate.
And we didn't go to a hospital on the day that she was born. I don't
see people that do this midwife, earthy, going back to America, going back to our African roots type of birth. They don't think about that when it comes to birth certificates. These midwives, my child wasn't born in the hospital. We had a midwife. She was born in the bathtub at the house. She was born in a swimming pool in the back of the house. They don't think about these things. And this is the funny part. A lot of times we as parents, or those of you who are parents, don't have the mindset to think that your little precious is going to become an adult one day. I know you're excited when she's first born, when he's first born, your little man, but he's got to grow up. And all the mistakes that you make when it comes to your kids when they're young will go back to bite them when they're older, such as this situation. Unless they establish a birth certificate for that young child that they have, that child won't be able to travel. And yet in other areas, without having a birth certificate, is going to hold that child back. But they didn't think about that. They just think about, let's be earthy. Let's have it like it was in Africa. It's sad. You say you also need a birth certificate for a passport. Absolutely. She needs to be under a rock. For real. Seriously.
I can't produce anything from a state licensed professional the day that she was born. And so for that reason, my daughter can't get a state official birth certificate, nor can she get a passport. So I guess my daughter's life does not matter in America because we did not follow society's standards.
Now she want to blame it on America because we don't keep society standards. That's not America's fault that you were irresponsible when it came to the birth of your child. Nothing wrong with having a child born outside a hospital. That's not the part. The part is, even though your child was born outside the hospital, you should have been as responsible as a parent who did have a child that was born in a hospital.
And I did not follow society's standards in my method of birthing her. So due to these facts, I'm stuck in America and I can't get any state assistance for my daughter.
And whose fault is that? They're going to ask for that child's birth certificate during vaccinations. They're going to ask for that child's birth certificate when she get ready to go to school. They're going to ask for that child's birth certificate throughout that child's life, throughout that child's adulthood. Mom, and you didn't think about that. All you thought about, I didn't want to have a baby in a hospital. I want to go back to my roots. I want to be earthy and have my child in a cauldron. I don't know what the hell you was thinking, lady. And I don't know what the father was thinking. He probably co-signed it. Yeah, have our baby in a bathtub at the house, girl. They should have been on top of that. Now the child probably ain't even got a social security card. Child definitely can't get an ID. Stupid. You can't put the and refuse to take accountability, but will say it was America's fault, the system's fault.
Because without a passport or a birth certificate, I can't even get her a social.
What did I just say?
And according to the state and the government, ain't no way around it if I don't have anything from a licensed professional verifying that she was born on the day that I say she was born on. And so I guess we just in the streets.
I'm leaving the Los Angeles passport agency after trying to acquire a new passport after mine was expired and misplaced by quite a bit. And I've been impacted by the executive order.
Now, of course, that's her now. And with the on the left and the right, that's her on the left and the right. But now because she's her, this the issue that transgender is going through.
And they are effectively banning me from travel, though they will not call it a travel ban. They stated that they would at first give me a passport that had the male identifier on it, though I have my sex legally changed to female. And 2 states and administratively with the federal government through Social Security before as well. And after claiming that they would give me the male one, I said any is fine as long as I'm able to travel. They came back and said that actually this is the first we're hearing that, and we won't be able to give you that either. We won't be able to give you any passport. We have no further information. They wouldn't tell me anything. I spoke to one person who wouldn't give me any information, which led to me speaking to a supervisor. And they towed the same line where they will not call it an effective travel ban, though that is the impact where my travel plans I cannot make. They will not give me any passport with any name, gender, sex of any form. And that is the case of what we are dealing with right now in the United States. There is an effective travel ban if you are trying to get a passport and you've had any sort of change with your gender.
That's true. Now what she just said is true. They literally have a travel ban on transgender because, like I mentioned before, this is a new frontier. I mean, nobody in the world knows how to handle this. This transgender transformation is not even 10 years old, not in the way that they're doing it now. And so how our society is supposed to adapt to a whole new breed of human beings that are switching from one side to the other side. And these people also didn't do their homework. They just thought about, just like the woman that we just watched, transgender people didn't think about this either. And I'm not coming down on them about this, but they didn't consider all the legal ramifications of changing their gender. They didn't think about all the legal things that they would have to do in the hell that they would walk through, not only being transgender, but the hell that they will walk through legally when it comes to certain things like bank accounts and passports and identifications. Okay.
I've heard a lot of people saying things like, oh, it's fine if you just want to get a passport with your old gender, it's fine. That's not true. They will not give it to me. And when I asked for more answers, I only left the office under threat of arrest. They stated that they would arrest me if I asked any more questions. So I left peacefully, but I only left under threat of arrest. And it seems that I will not be able to travel outside of this country, which is effectually now on the same playing field as North Korea, politically, where its people cannot leave under threat of arrest, even in good standing. So, per the executive order, look out, everybody, and stay safe.
In the US, getting a passport is a privilege, not a right. So here's what types of American citizens can be denied getting a US passport. So I will say most people with a felony record are going to have no issues getting a passport. There are some countries that you cannot travel to, but in general, if you do have a felony record, you'll be fine. You're probably going to be denied a passport if you have a federal warrant out for your arrest, if you're on parole or probation, and the terms are you can't leave the US, and if there's a request for your extradition. You also will be denied a passport if you owe $2,500 or more in child support. I think this is a good thing because if you owe...
Remember what I mentioned, it's lower than that. It's actually 1,000. That's the federal number. So all you guys that be thinking, I can get under that, you probably can, but don't trust that. Don't trust that 2,500. The states, all 50, I thought all 50 states will be different, but actually all 50 states now are the same. All of them say the threshold is $1,000.
Child support, you have no business going on vacation. Like, pay for your kid first. And then if you were involved with international drug trafficking or with international child abduction. And if you've ever been convicted of treason or espionage, or you've had some sort of plans to take down the US, you're probably going to get your passport denied. If you're a convicted sex offender and your crime involved a minor, you get this blurb in your passport, and you have to report your travel plans to your registry 21 days before you leave with your itinerary, and then the US government notifies those other governments that you're coming, and then that country could deny you entry.
5,600. Remember this, gentlemen, before we go back to the video. 2024, I believe, or 2023. 5,600 men were turned back from Colombia because they were previous offenders when it came to to minors, to kids. I'll say this again. The United States does reach out to other countries and let that country know that you are coming. I don't know why dudes think that they can mess with little kids in the States and then think that nobody will find out in another country. That other country knows, and then they'll have the right to either let you in and not let you in. And 5,600 men, I believe it was last year or the year before, were turned back from Colombia at the airport. Last year we looked at videos. Remember last year, one was a white dude that went viral. Another one was a brother. He went viral, turned it right in the airport in Medellin, turned it right around. No, you cannot come in this country, mess with our kids. Now, mind you, I do think that title of sexual offenders sometimes can be a little unfair and biased. If the girl is 17 and her boyfriend is 18 and the parents don't like the boy, a lot of times I've heard that the parents get that boy arrested and he end up with that stigma for the rest of his life. And he was 18 years old and his girlfriend was like 16 or 17 years old. I don't like that one. I don't like. And that's happened too many times in the United States. The boy is 19. They've been dating for 5 years. They were dating when she was 13 and he was 15 or 16. When she was 14, he was 17. They've been dating each other just as kids. And then as soon as he turned 18, 19, the parents just get mad. And then all of a sudden want to call the police on the boy and talk about our daughter is up, especially white people. Y'all dirty, man. White people, y'all some dirty mother. I swear that is dirty. Y'all famous for calling the police on a minority boy. Call the police on a boy that's 18 years old, knowing he been dating your daughter who's 17. They've been dating for 4 years. But because your daughter hurt that day and your little Emily is crying, You call the police and say, well, our Emily is only 17. He is a 18-year-old man. And that boy got to walk around with that stigma for the rest of his life because mom and dad, your white, are dirty. Y'all famous for that one, white folks. If y'all ain't famous for nothing else, black folks and Latin folks, But white folks, y'all will call on a minority. Y'all don't care about the race. Y'all will call on a little young white boy that's 17 years old and have that boy arrested because your little Emily is crying. Using her little white girl tears. Y'all dirty, man. Let me go ahead and let me not go into a rant, but let me just go ahead and go back to the video. Let's go back to the video.
Like the way they go about this is a little odd because I feel like DRUG trafficking is not as bad as a crime involving a minor. I also feel like having a passport should be a right, not a privilege. Maybe not if you have a warrant out for your arrest, but I feel like anything else, they shouldn't be able to deny you a passport. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know yours and follow for more.
The U.S. State Department has frozen all passport applications and renewals for those people who are trans or non-binary.
All of them. That's true. All of them are frozen.
So let's break this down. If you are somebody who does not identify as male or female and you check that third option and you have a passport pending, it is frozen and it will be rejected. Now, does this mean that you can't ever file for a passport if you fall into this category? No, you can, but you have to wait until you get the formal rejection letter if your application is pending, and who knows how long that can take. Now, legal challenges are expected to this, and groups like the ACLU and Lambda Legal are all preparing to fight these changes in court. And in fact, they're also saying that if you are trans or non-binary, to definitely consult a lawyer if you have a pending application. Now, if you do fall into this group of people, it is recommended that you don't withdraw your current application. Just wait for a formal rejection letter. Check the policy yourself directly. That's always a smart thing to do. You can contact the National Passport Information Center and, of course, seek legal or advocacy support. Yep. As always, make sure to hit that follow button so you don't miss any of these critical updates. Drop your thoughts about this new regulation in the comments. And of course, go up there and follow me on other platforms in case TikTok goes away, because nothing is set in stone with this app yet.
Reasons to have your U.S. passport application denied. No particular order. An incomplete application. If your application is not complete, it can be denied. Even missing one question, they can deny it.
True.
Using the wrong color ink. Make sure you read the directions because it may say blue ink only or black ink only. So make sure to read the directions. Using the wrong photo. The photo has to be a certain size with a certain background. You cannot take a selfie for your passport. So go ahead and go to CVS or Walgreens, or the passport office or Office Depot, one of those places. They can take your passport photo for you. This is the big one that I get all the time. Can I get a passport if I owe on child support? No, you cannot.
Yes, you can.
You cannot get a passport if you...
Yes, you can. I don't see why she worded it like that, because she's going to explain as far as the $2,500. She's going to talk about the $2,500, but yes, you can. Do not let these women talk you guys and make you feel bad, make you think that you'll never be able to get a passport. I just told y'all my Uncle Jeffrey in the comments right now, and other dudes I know right now that owe child support. They just so happen to get theirs under $1,000 of back pay. Once you get that under $1,000, your $999, go apply for your passport. Don't be listening to these women like this. I'm giving you proof, and this woman just giving you assumptions. You say for the OBAC state, you say the OBAC tax disqualifications. If you owe back taxes and you are on a payment plan and are up to date, you still get a passport. Absolutely correct, Father. We talked about that earlier. Absolutely correct. The amount right now, we already looked at it, and we looked at the U.S. Actually, we went to the U.S. IRS website, and I dropped the link earlier. As long as you are under $62,000 of back payment, they don't bother you. If you owe more than right now, if you owe more than $62,000 in back taxes, that's when the IRS has the right to go for your passport. But if you're under that in back taxes, if you're at $12,000 or $25,000, $2,500, you're safe. But you do If you do owe more than $65,000, set up the payment plan. They'll work with you, and they'll once you get under the $65,000. I mean, I'm sorry, $62,000. I say 65, but $62,000, you'll be able to acquire your passport again. My man T-Mac said, I'm in Colombia. He said in Colombia. He said, leave the chica alone if she looks too young. This is true. That's a good point. A lot of dudes, if she looks too young, if she looks 18, dude, she probably is. I mean, if she looks 17, she probably is. If she looks 14, she probably is. I know brothers that be coming down here messing with them young girls. I mean, young. I'm not talking about in their 20s. I'm not even talking about 19. I'm talking about like brothers that ain't got caught yet. And I mean, I know quite a few brothers that just ain't got caught yet. Y'all don't be thinking white boys just be coming down here on no evil. Brothers be coming down here on some evil stuff. Man, dude, I don't know if y'all want to realize it, but we got some demons in the black community too. We got some straight up demon dudes in the black community also. Fortunately, most of us aren't like that, but just like white boys got demons, we be looking at the white boys like that nasty, somebody need to bury him under jail. It's some brothers just like that too. They got passports and they do just as much demonic stuff as them white boys. So don't think that the white brothers the only one walking around that got demons in their group. We've been having deep demonic brothers and sisters in our groups, and they hide among us. I'll say that again. They try to hide among us. But they some demons, man. They don't care nothing about your kids and nobody else's kids in another country. If they had a chance, they would get a hold of your daughter just as fast as they get a hold of a Colombian dude or Brazilian dude's daughter. We got some demon dudes. They don't care about who daughter they get a hold of. Don't you ever think that it's just only white boys that got demon dudes in their groups. So do we. Fortunately, most of us aren't like that. Shout out to Tori being in the building. Appreciate you being here. Tori says, I think if none of these restrictions apply to you, what is your excuse for not having your passport yet? What is your excuse? He's absolutely correct. Shout out to you, Tori. What is your excuse? Oh, I'm dipping in the conversation. Jay Anderson says this. I see you had a question, Jay. Jay said, is it a good look? I need to update my driver's license ID because I don't have the star. Yeah, you need to update it because you don't have the star. Even my driver's license expired, and I got the star on my expired driver's license that's over here. You gotta have that star. That's by if you plan on flying, and they're gonna come with some more restrictions other than flight. You better believe that. If you don't have that star, and some of you guys are like, well, I don't fly anyway, so I'm good. I promise you, it's gonna be some other things they're gonna come up with. They're gonna end up, you know what's gonna end up happen? The states are gonna discover that they can make money, because you know everything is about money in the United States. The State Departments are gonna realize they can make money from having police officers giving out tickets to those of you who don't have the star. Once the states realize we can make money too, we don't have to wait for the airport and the airlines to make all the money. We can, whenever we stop somebody, they don't have that star on their driver's license and or their ID, we can make money off giving them a ticket. So before all this madness takes place, go ahead and get the one with the star on it, man. He said, I just remember mine expired. Got to get it renewed. Yes, sir. Yeah, I don't plan on getting my identification renewed in the States, you know, because I'm officially outside the States. Other than releasing my citizenship, I'm basically just I ain't in the States like that, man. There's over 9 million of us that are just like me. We ain't used our driver's license or IDs in the States forever. I am not going to be going to the States and then renting a car. I know I'm not. soon as I get out the plane, I call me an Uber, take me to my spot. Just like I did for the conclave. JT says, it looks like I need to update mine as well. Thanks for asking the question, J.A. Yes, sir. Shout out to Jay Anderson, the great. Shout out to Jay Anderson. Great question. Yep, it's time to update. Let's go back to the video.
Oh, on child support. If you owe $2,500 or more in the arrears on child support, you will not be allowed to get a passport. Now, if you have paid it, you need to contact the Department of Health and Human Services so they can let the feds know that you are clear to go.
Yeah, they do.
But no, you cannot get a passport if you owe on child support in the amount of $2,500 or more. If you owe on back taxes, you cannot get a passport. IRS, federal, passport agency, federal.
Now remember what we just looked up, gentlemen. Remember what we just looked up. I'm going to pull this back up again for us while she's talking. For those of you that weren't here earlier, when it comes to back taxes, let me put this on the screen. Screen share. And we're going directly to the IRS website, and I'm going to drop this link. This is when it comes to your passport. Revocation or denial of passport in case of certain unpaid taxes. No matter what anybody else is saying, we're on the IRS website right now for this. By law, the IRS certified taxpayer were seriously delinquent taxes to the State Department for specific actions regarding their passports. So it gives a breakdown of why they would take your passport or revoke your passport. In 2018, you used to have only, let me make sure we see the same thing on the screen. Okay, cool. In 2018, it used to be $51,000. If you're over $51,000 in 2018, they will revoke your passport until you got under that amount. If right now in 2024 to 2025, it's $62,000. So as long as you're under whatever you owe the IRS, as long as it's under $62,000, they're going to leave you alone. If you owe more than that, reach out to them, get a payment plan so you can make your payments. And then as you make your payments and you hit under the $62,000, even while you're in the middle of your payments, you'd be able to apply for your passport once you get under that $62,000. So I'm going to drop that link for you guys once again who are interested in that information that we are going over in that section. And I'm going to also drop the link to the Patreon for all the information we were just looking at a little earlier. So when you hear these videos or even hear me say certain things, you know, I got to come with receipts to let you guys be able to read this information for yourself. Now let's go back to the video.
They talk to each other. So you got to pay them back taxes, okay? If you own a federal loan, not necessarily a student loan, I'm talking about a federal loan like FEMA or something like that. You own FEMA, but you're trying to get a passport to go on vacation. You know the feds ain't playing that.
Remember what I said earlier for you guys that lose your passport and the U.S. Embassy has to give you a new passport, but you don't have any money with you and you need money to go back for your flight, or you need some money to stay in the country until your flight leaves. You know, you need a couple $100 to tide you over until your flight leaves from Medellin in 2 weeks. All those things that the State Department, that's a loan. And if you go back to the States and you forget to pay back the States for that new passport, which is $165, that extra couple $100 that they gave you to tide yourself over until your flight left to go back to the States. If you don't pay that few $100 back that you owe the United States once you get back home, just like you said, just like with FEMA, you can get your passport frozen, rejected, revoked. She's correct.
All right. If you have a warrant out for your arrest, you can't get a passport, but that should be self-explanatory. If you are awaiting a federal or state court date, you can't get a passport. And they do check. They check. That's why you fill out that information. Social security number, date of birth, last known addresses. They check all of that, okay? If you're on parole or probation, you can't get a passport. So those are just some of the reasons. If you want more information, you can go to travel.state.gov. But yeah, go get your passport if you can. If you can't, take care of what you need to take care of to get it.
Your passport color isn't a random design choice, and it reveals more about your country than you think. Here's what most people don't realize. Red passports signal one of two things. You're a member of the European Union, or the country has a communist history. But there's one country that breaks this pattern. Croatia is the only EU nation with a blue passport, a symbol of their independence from Yugoslavia, which previously used red. But the other three passports get even more interesting. The blue passport, most famously held by US citizens, represents freedom and stability. What most people don't know is the US has a secret color system. Diplomats like the President Donald Trump holds a black passport, where officials of the government like FBI agents carry the maroon US passport. It's like a government issued status symbol. And then there's the green passport, an important color in the Islamic faith, which is why mainly Islamic countries use it. But this final color is the rarest of them all. Less than 4% of passports are the color black, with New Zealand being one of them, choosing black which coincides with their national color. So now you know this little is more than your ticket to travel. It's a little piece of your identity. Comment down below what color your passport is.
This is how I have 3 passports. I'm a United States citizen because I was born in the United States and my father was a US citizen when I was born. The coolest thing about the US passport is that it gives me the right to own a firearm in the United States of America. But the downside is I have to file a tax return every year for the rest of my life as long as I'm a US citizen, no matter where I live.
True. Let's go to that part real quick where he's talking about in your passports. Some of your passports in the front, some passports it's in the back. Some of us have the older passports. It is line D in your back of your passports where all that writing is. Some of y'all have the writing in the front in the new passports. But it says this, line D, for all U.S. citizens, U.S. taxes. All U.S. citizens working and residing abroad are required to file and to report their overseas income. And that's according to the Consult IRS Publications 54 Tax Guide for U.S. Citizens and Resident Aliens Abroad. Even though we don't owe back taxes, 98% of all expats don't owe any taxes because we get so many tax breaks. We get so many tax breaks, but we still have to file like you guys do. So even though we don't owe anything, state taxes for the most part too. But at the end of the day, we still got to file. And that's what he was just saying. Don't owe nothing, but they still trying to monitor what we do.
I'm a Portuguese citizen because my grandfather immigrated to Ecuador from Portugal, but he never actually became an Ecuadorian citizen. And so that made my mom Portuguese, and that makes me Portuguese. My Portuguese passport allows me to live anywhere in the EU without a visa. It also allows me to go to a few extra countries that my US passport doesn't let me go without a visa, such as Uzbekistan and Venezuela. I am an Ecuadorian citizen because my mother is Ecuadorian, and so I was able to do the paperwork and become Ecuadorian. And my Ecuadorian passport lets me go to Russia, Belarus, and China without a visa. There are other benefits, such as being able to use whichever passport makes my entry into a country easiest, but the really main benefit that I like is the convenience. So for example, when I'm in Europe, I can use my Portuguese ID card as ID for almost anything. When I'm in South America, I can use my Ecuadorian ID card as ID for almost anything.
The request for the passport has been denied by child support, and we will still have a hold on your passport. Yeah, I see that you submitted documents trying to say that grandma is sick in Mexico. However, the documents received were from an American doctor, local to you, local to us. We were able to verify that that doctor is taking care of grandma here in America, and there's no reason for you or grandma to be in Mexico, so we weren't able to verify that information.
He tried to lie and say grandma was sick in Mexico, submitted the information from the United States. They verified that grandma is sick, but in the United States, so he ain't going to Mexico.
So you committed fraud. So I don't think any more documentation is going to be accepted by the passport team, unfortunately. Well, that's because you stated in your statement why you need a passport is grandma's in Mexico terminally ill. Doctors verified grandma is terminally ill here in America, so it sounds like you really need to be here for more reasons than one if grandma's the big concern here. So if you are looking for the passport, pay the $9,000 that you owe, and you can get caught up and get passport back. But there is no exceptions to a family emergency, and you need to get the passport to go to Mexico.
So in his case, he owes $9,000. Technically, all he would need to pay back to get his passport is $8,001. That would put him under the $1,000 threshold, and he would get his passport back. Oh man, there's people that owe way more than that in child support. Way more. So yeah, but technically all he had to do was get under that 1,000. So he owes $8,000. He owes $8,001 to get his passport back. And you need to stop lying, talking about grandma somewhere dead, dying, and grandma dying in the United States. That's some evil. Don't put that on grandma.
This isn't a supervisor issue. My supervisor, your application has already been looked at by someone who's higher up than me. The passport team takes care of all of these disputes. I don't even deal with them. So I wasn't the person who denied you. It was someone who was above me. So talking to my supervisor's a step ahead of me, but isn't a step ahead of passport, so it's not going to get you anywhere.
Mama at home got her garage set up like an office. I ain't mad at you, mama. Shout out to her. Shout out to her.
They don't take phone calls. The only thing I can do is submit paperwork for you and get it off to them. But like I said, they're not going to accept any more paperwork because you tried to commit fraud, and so you have been denied. You can try again in 12 months.
I actually have two identical US passports, and in this video I'm going to explain to you how I got to and how you can get to if you need it yourself. These passports are exactly the same except for one key difference. One is a 10-year passport, the standard one that you would get, and the other is only good for 4 years. The passport number is the same number plus 1. All of my personal details remain exactly the same. And it's what they call a second passport. If you are a frequent traveler, you can actually get 2 US passports for your travel purposes. The reason I got it was because I travel a lot and I also apply for visas. And so there might be a time where I have to send my passport to an embassy and it's going to be stuck there for several weeks while I'm actually traveling internationally. And so I needed 2 passports so I could have one to use while I'm traveling and another one that I could send to embassies to get visas and then swap them out when I go on my trip. The way you can get these 2 passports is by first just going to a passport agency and applying there if you have travel coming up within 2 weeks. But the second reason is you can actually send in your current passport and then put in a new application for a new passport and pay the visa fee or pay the passport fee, and then write a letter explaining to the US government that you are actually requesting for a second passport. The original passport is just to verify your identity, and then you will be requesting for a second passport like you're paying for a new one. And in that letter, you have to explain your reasoning. There's not an official form to actually apply for this, but you put a simple letter that just says, hey, this is my name, this is my passport number, I would like to request a second passport. This is my reason. Thank you for your time. Sincerely, your name, and then sign it and include that with the new passport application and fee that you send in. On the State Department's website, they actually list out some of the reasons you could give for applying for a second passport. And one of the main ones is like my situation, you travel a lot, and so you have to apply for visas and your passport might be stuck in an embassy. But another reason actually is interesting if you travel to countries that might have an issue if you travel to another country. For example, you go to Israel and Israel technically doesn't really stamp your passport, but if you were to go there and then say that would hinder you from going to another country, you could get a second passport and use one for going to Israel and then use the other one for going to other countries. My understanding is they're really not that strict. You just have to give a reason and pay the fee, and then they'll give you the second passport. And if you have any questions, there's a State Department number you can call to get all this information. This is how I originally got the information when applying for my second passport the first time. They do advise that you do not travel with both passports. If you're going on a trip, you just want to take one. And the reason is, if you are, maybe your bag is searched when you're entering another country, they might be very suspicious to find that you have two passports and ask a lot of questions about that. And it actually might be illegal in some countries to have two passports. And if you just travel with one, it's no problem, and you really shouldn't need two to travel. And so I always keep one at home and I travel with the other one. So the way I do it is I actually have one passport that I basically just use to travel to Nigeria or West Africa. I often travel to Nigeria, and the Nigeria visa is good for like 5 years. And so I just am going to fill up this passport with stamps from Nigeria or a few other West African countries in case I travel around there a little bit. And then this other passport I use exclusively for everything else. And so I put all my travel here because this one's going to expire sooner. This one's good for 10 years. This one's only good for 4 years. I want to do all of my travel in here to fill it up. And in fact, I have about 10 months left on this one. It's almost full. And so pretty soon I am going to send in this passport request for another second passport. And so I can keep using this one for Nigeria and this one for everything else. So if you do travel a lot, the second passport is something that's actually pretty easy to get. And I would recommend sending in an application if that's something that makes sense for you and the places that you travel or the frequency that you travel.
We always hear this threat: I'm going to leave the country if so-and-so is elected. This time, the wealthy are taking action. Advisors and attorneys to the wealthy say applications for investment visas and passports are up more than 30%. Americans are now the #1 group applying for many of those top investment migration programs. A survey by Ardent Capital found that 53% of American millionaires say they're going to leave the U.S. after the election, no matter who wins.
The majority of our clients are, very successful business owners, entrepreneurs. We obviously have a lot of the leaders in the tech sector out of Silicon Valley. So for them, it's building a portfolio of options around the world.
What they call a passport portfolio. So where are the wealthy going? Well, Malta has become the big status symbol for second passports. For about $650,000 plus fees, you can get citizenship and you can live and work anywhere in Europe. That's the advantage to Malta. Now, St. Lucia and Antigua also popular. For permanent residencies, Portugal is the favorite right now. That requires an investment of 250,000 euros. Greece, Spain, and Italy, all not bad places, are also big for Americans. The prices, though, are going up. Greece nearly double the price of its golden visa for parts of the country.
And now with Trump being in office, a lot of people are saying, oh, don't you regret renouncing your U.S. citizenship? And also the United States might switch to a residency-based taxation system, meaning that you no longer need to renounce your U.S. citizenship in order to pay 0% taxes in the United States. Now, these are just rumors. This might change, or this might not change, because now it's citizenship-based taxation and FATCA follows you all over the world. But Trump wants to change that, and also maybe even remove capital gains taxes and do a lot of tax changes in the United States. And now people think, oh, the US is not woke anymore. It's going in the right direction now. Don't you regret not being American anymore and leaving the United States? But the reality is that I didn't just leave for taxes. And even with Trump in office, let's say that the country starts to go in the right direction, I'm still very happy that I left the United States, because there are many other reasons why I left and why I live in other countries, and more specifically, a combination of countries all over the world. The first one would be health and food quality. Now, obviously, healthcare, if you get public healthcare all over the world, it's going to be pretty terrible. But if you want access to great private healthcare all over the world, it's going to be much more accessible, faster, and overall much more efficient in many other countries around the world. I mean, even Americans, they go to Mexico for better treatment. They go to Malaysia. They go to some places in Europe. Obviously, life expectancies in a lot of countries, specifically in the European Union, are way higher. They're in the 80s, 85, 86, versus the United States is still in the 70s. And that's also largely based on food quality. In my opinion, food in the United States is poison. It's there to make a profit. They want to experiment with lab-grown meats, and they essentially don't want you to have access to hormone-free, organic food. The concept of organic to me blows my mind, that you need to go to a very specific place, very specific shop to get organic whole foods. You go to pretty much any country in Europe, or pretty much any country in geographically in Europe, even outside of the European Union. You go to many countries in Asia, you go to many countries in Latin America. Food is organic without being organic. You don't need the special seal that it says organic. Food isn't fully pumped with hormones. Meat is fresh, vegetables are fresh, and food isn't trying to poison you. You don't need to go out of your way to consume high quality foods. Obesity rates all over the world are also lower than the United States, and overall people are healthier. People are more fit as well. There's also a walk culture. It's not just this car culture where you drive a couple blocks anywhere you go. People walk, and people lose weight by walking, and you don't really see obese people all over the world like you see in the United States. For me to see an obese person here in Poland or in the UAE is very rare, very, very rare. You see maybe one obese person a day, maybe once every week sometimes, versus in the United States, or also in Australia, I should say, because I was in Australia, I saw a lot of obese people. In Australia, it's extremely common. You see hundreds of them every single day. So the food isn't trying to poison you. People walk, people are healthier. That's one big reason, because I'm really into fitness, biohacking, sleeping properly, eating properly, and living a long, healthy life.
Before he goes to the next one, let's confirm what he's talking about. Let's see if what he's talking about is true, my friends. Let's see. Let's remove this from stage. Let's bring this up. We're looking at right now, I just pulled up the Global Obesity Observatory. Let's blow this up a little bit. Let's look at the fattest countries in the world with the most obese people. Come on, let's look at the list, people. Don't look away. You look straight into the lens. Look into your country. Number one country with obese people, Samoan countries. Then countries that is, what is this? Nauru? I wouldn't know where Nauru is. The Cook's Islands are number 4. Tonga is number 6. Samoa, once again, this Samoa, but then Samoa right here is number 9. Look who's in the top 10 fattest countries in the world. Look at the obesity rate in the United States. Then you got Qatar, then Bahamas, and so forth, Kuwait. Where's South America? Wait a minute. Let's see if we get South America. Argentina is on there, number 20. You got to go all the way to 24 to get South America in there. And get Chile in there. You got to go to 29 to get Belize, which is Central America. Then you get Mexico at 34. Oh, here we go, South America again. Uruguay, Paraguay. Where's Colombia? Wait a minute. We're in the 50s. Ain't no fat people in Colombia. Brazil, you got to go all the way down to 65 to see Brazil. Come on, let's keep rolling. Germany, Finland, Portugal. You got to go to 88 to see Portugal. Come on. Oh, we finally see Venezuela. We had to go to 95 countries to look for Venezuela to find obesity, meaning that it's so rare that you ain't gonna see it. Armenia, Jamaica's all the way down to, there we go. You got to go to 114th country to look for obesity in Colombia. But if you want some fat folk, if you want your share of fat folk All you got to do is just go to number 10. The number 10 country with the fattest folks in the world. And this is according to the Obesity Observatory. Y'all fat in the United States, bruh. And you can't deny it. Y'all got some fine women there, but y'all got fat women. And y'all define sexy as curvy. Oh, you only see the IRS? Thank you very much. Let's go back. I thought I pulled it up. There we go. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Okay, now let me make sure we can see the same thing. There we go. Thank you, T-Mac. Let's look at it. We're looking at adults. We can look at females if you want to. Or both. Let's look at both. So we look at both right now because they just had males and then females. Let's look at females. We don't care about the dudes. Let's look at females. Countries with the fattest females. So now you got America, Samoa, Tonga, so forth and so forth. Samoa. Egypt is number 10. Federation of Micronesia. Let's see what the United States ranks with all. Iraq, South Africa, Puerto Rico, when it comes to everybody. United States still number 36. So when you put males, United States is number 10. Y'all some fat ass dudes, bro. Y'all some fat boys. Let's put females. Let's just put females alone. Y'all women. Let's see where United States as far as women. All right, Puerto Rico. United States is still 36 when it comes to everybody. And when it comes to women, United States is still the fattest. When it comes to men, it's in the top 10. Let me make sure we all looking at the same screen. Okay, cool. Let's look when it comes to women. Colombia, let's see. Argentina, 52. You got to go to 50. DR, you got to go all the way to 56 for DR. Ecuador, you got to go all the way down to 67. Peru, Brazil is number 70. That's how low you ain't gonna see that many fat chicks in Brazil. You got number 70. Peru, the same thing. Guatemala. Colombia, you got to go all the way down to 80 when it comes to women. You got to go 80 countries deep to look for a fat chick in Colombia. It is not that common. You're going to see obesity in Colombia. That's one thing. I kid y'all not. And I'm not saying this flippantly. In my almost decade being here in Colombia, I've probably seen maybe like obese. We're talking about obesity. 4 or 5 obese women where I could literally say that person's not just fat, that person's obese. 4 women that are obese. It is not that common. All you guys have been in Colombia. Am I right? It's not that common that you see somebody that's obese. You may see somebody overweight here and there. That's here and there. But obesity is not a thing in South America. But if I scroll past all these countries, I can get back to the United States with your fat ass. With all your big girls, big girls, big girls, big girls. That's the United States, fellas. That's your United States. He said, you definitely got some chubby chasers and fatties in the United States. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And y'all try to convert it into saying they thick. Y'all try to say that they thick. Okay. Let's continue on with the video. Let's remove that from the stage and bring this up.
Living a long, healthy life is crime. crime in the United States, although Trump is rounding up all these illegal immigrant criminals and sending them back to their countries and deporting them, crime is still a huge problem in the United States. As of March 1st, 2025, the first 2 months of the year, January and February, there's been 58 mass shootings in the United States, resulting in 85 deaths and 193 injuries. So pretty much every day of the year, there is a mass shooting in the United States. You have to be afraid for your kids going to school because there might be a mass shooting at school. Overall, crime, carjacking, theft, property theft, all that is just rising all over the United States. And that is not going to stop because a lot of these people committing these crimes are US citizens. They're not going to be deported. Poverty in a lot of places is increasing in the United States. So obviously more and more people are going to be inclined towards crime. And overall, that's not going to stop. The same way that in Sweden, bombings and crime is on the rise, and you can't deport those people because they're Swedish citizens already. So the problem is there, and it's going to continue. These gangs are there, and they're going to continue. These cartels inside of the United States are there, and they're going to continue. And you can go to another country, like the UAE, like Singapore, some places in Europe, some, because a lot of them are very crime-ridden, but you can go to other places around the world where they're extremely safe. You don't need to worry about somebody stabbing you. You don't need to worry about somebody jacking your car, and live a much more peaceful life. If you're watching this and you're worth at least $1 million US, or you have a business that makes at least $1 million, I want to invite you to my new YouTube channel, Wealthy Expat Millionaire. You can check it out in the link in the description. It is deeper topics specifically towards you. A person that has $1 million or is making $1 million, you're gonna get a lot of value from that channel. Homelessness is also a huge problem. I don't wanna go to a city and I wanna walk around the city and see homeless everywhere. Yes, these are people that a lot of times need help. They're addicted. But if I go to a new city, I don't wanna see homeless people everywhere. Homeless encampments, homeless people asking for money everywhere. I don't wanna see that. That's why I love places like Dubai. There's no homeless people. I love places like Singapore. There's no homeless people. All these places, you barely see homeless people. And that's what I love. Even in Belgrade, you see a homeless person here or there, but not at the massive level that you see it in the United States. It's just when you're a wealthy person and you're visiting a new country, you just don't want to see these homeless people. You don't want to see these gangs. You don't want to see these pickpockets all over the city. Is just horrible. In the United States, there's also a lot of a racial and societal tension. Races hate each other, blacks against whites, Latinos against blacks, whites against everyone else at this point. So there's this racial tension that you don't really see in other countries around the world. Even countries that are race mixed, obviously in countries like Germany, Sweden, Netherlands, you're seeing this problem with the illegal immigration and these new races mixing in with the native Europeans, and obviously there's a lot of tension, but it's not at the level of the United States. In my opinion, the last time I was in the United States was around 2 years ago before I renounced, and you could feel this. Even in Florida, you can feel this, like hatred between blacks and Latinos and whites and Latinos is just everywhere. This is constant tension, always, versus you can go to another country, they might be multicultural, there might be multiple different races, but nobody hates each other at the level of the United States.
All you guys that travel, is he telling the truth? I know what my answer is. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Is what he's saying about there is racial disparities in certain conflicts in other countries, but they don't do it on the level of the United States. Is he correct? Have you guys experienced personally the racial energy when you were in Dubai? Did you feel racial energy when you were in the Philippines? That racial stress, did you feel that while you were in Brazil or in Colombia? I haven't. I ain't gonna even lie to you. In the United States, as a person of color, you are, no matter how much money you got, you are constantly on edge. Even if you're not running around like some people playing the victim, because I don't do the victim Olympics, but there's still something about, like I said, if you are an American, you can only be an American outside of America. While you're in America, you are a race. You're not even an ethnicity. You are a race. White boy can't say, I'm from Ireland, he white. He can't say, well, my people are from UK, he white. He can't say that his people from Poland, he white. One of the reasons why a lot of African Americans don't look up their ancestry because they don't feel the value of their ethnicity. They don't need to know what part of Africa they come from. Why? They black. And all day long, from the time you wake up in the morning to the time you go to bed, all day long, you are bombarded with nothing but advertisement, music, neighbors, co-workers, everybody, family members, the books, everything is going to say one thing: you are black. And there's nothing wrong with being black. I love being black, but I get tired of the bombardment of the daily reminder. No other country does that, people. For all you guys that never been out to the United States, if you know who always embarrass themselves? I've seen this. All you brothers that try to be pro-black, all you Stokely Carmichaels, Martin Luther Kings, Marcus Garveys, when you try that shit outside the United States, you guys be looking so embarrassed. I've seen some of you guys come down here and try to talk about the white man does. Ain't nobody in South America talking like that. They do talk about, racial issues that take place, yes, but not on the scale that we do it in America. We have made racism into a sport. We've made racism into a true religion. It's Islam, it's Christianity, and it's racism in the United States. That is our religion. We wake up and go to church, the church of racism. We love us some racism in the United States. And I ain't gonna even pretend like we don't. We love racism. Racism gives white boy excuses to be the way that he is. It gives Latin people to be the way that they are. It gives black people a reason to be the way that they are. And it's all evil towards each other. And then when you leave the United States, one of the reasons a lot of y'all are so uncomfortable outside the United States, because don't nobody give a damn about your blackness. They care about that you're American, and you ain't used to that. So you got to run your tail back to the United States. You got to run back to the racism that you used to, because you ain't used to being in a country where racism is not readily thrown in your face all day, every day. Race, 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 race. Like I said, are there some racial disparities in other countries? Yes. For example, in South America, they are still trying to get more blacks on television, on radio, on mainstream media. They're trying to get more black businesses out there. That's on the economic scale of racism. But you ain't seeing nobody being hung. When last time y'all heard about somebody being hung in Brazil? I'll wait. I'm always hearing about somebody trying to hang a brother in the States to this day. When last time you heard about somebody being hung in Colombia? I'll wait. If you see a race attack somebody in Colombia, usually it's the guerrilla dudes in the woods, and they trying to steal a person's land. It's not because they black, it's because they want that land. Now that does happen to black people in Colombia, but it's not because of they're black. It's because they like, hey, them black people out there in Choco own some land. Let's take some of that land. Y'all still being hung from trees in the United States. Ain't nobody else acting like that no more. And so a lot of you dudes, I've seen it. You dudes will come, man, to South America and start talking that race talk of the brotherhoods and what's going on in the States and the white man. And dude, ain't nobody caring about that ish. And it just hurts your little soul. It hurts your little soul that the rest of the world don't join in the reindeer games, Rudolph. Rudolph. I'm talking to you, Rudolph. It hurts that the rest of the world does not want to join in your reindeer games. They wouldn't let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. It just hurts your little soul, Rudolph. Nobody else wants to be in the reindeer games. The only time I gotta sit back, if I want to sit back and I want to hear somebody talk about race, guarantee all I gotta do is just turn on a television show that's from America, or watch some American TikTok, or watch some American YouTube, and it's guaranteed it's gonna be some race stuff talked about all day long. I turned on TikTok while I was getting ready for this show. What did I came across? A panel doing a live stream talking about some race-ish. Yeah, I love it. It's y'all religion. It is. Americans love cars, apple pie, hot dogs, hot summer days, racism. Man, Americans love racism more than they love Jesus. Americans love racism more than we love Jesus. I don't know why we trying to pretend like we don't. That is our number one religion. We do not cut. The Catholic religion is not as big as racism in the United States. Islam is not as big as racism in the United States. Judaism is not as big as racism in the United States. Christianity is not as big as racism in the United States. Name the religion that's bigger than the religion of racism in the United States. Name it. I'll wait. Name it. You got the comments. I don't hold y'all back. Come on. The comments is kind of quiet. Name it. Name the religion that's larger than racism in the United States. There is none. There is none. Every other country you can name their religion, and racism is not as big and as prevalent. United States is the biggest, racism is the biggest business in the United States, the biggest religion in the United States, the biggest separator in bringing people together. You can bring white people come and stick together because of racism. Black people stick together because of racism. Latin people stick together because of racism, not because of the love we have for each other and the kumbaya. A lot of times we stick together with each other just because of skin color. White folks do it, Latin folks do it, black folks do it. That is our religion. I don't know why y'all try to pretend like our religion is something else. I'm a Christian. No, you ain't. You're a racist. Well, black people can't be racist. The hell we can't. Who told you that? Umar? We ain't got the power. Dude, the way that we act towards ourselves and how we act towards others, don't tell me that black folks can't be prejudiced and cannot be racist. That's crazy. That you can't be American if you're not racist. I'm gonna say this again. For all you Americans that try to pretend I ain't racist, you know how much work you got to get out of your system to be the opposite of most Americans? There are Americans that aren't racist, that aren't bigots, that don't care about race as long as it's a good person. I ain't racist. I don't care. Dude, I was always equal opportunity since I was a kid. My first two best friends was white dudes. My first two girlfriends was Asian and white. Everybody I was cool with was black. I was always an equal opportunist. I don't care about that race bullshit. Because once I left the United States, I am seen as American first. Then my race steps up. But when I go back to the States, I know to put my American flag in my back pocket and pull out my "We Have a Dream" speech. I know when I'm outside the United States, I can sing the Star Spangled Banner. While I'm in the United States, I better sing "Lift Every Voice and Sing Till Earth." I better sing the Black National Anthem, "Till Earth in Heaven Rings, rings with the harmony of liberty." I better sing the Black National Anthem and better know verse 1, 2, and 3. God of our silent years, God of our worried tears, You better know the second verse. God who has brought us thus far on the way or on our way. You can't just know the first verse. That is our religion. I don't know why we try to pretend like there is no other country that worship racism like the United States. There is none. I don't know why y'all try to act like we're in Europe. No. We're the original, we're in Portugal where they got slavery first, dude. You talking about 400, 500, 600 years ago. Portugal ain't like that no more. Well, the Spaniards, the colonizer, Spain ain't colonized nobody about how many years? When last time Spain colonized somebody? Spain ain't no colonizer no more. Everybody has changed but the United States. You catch that? Every country has said, oh, well, we ain't who we used to be. The United States, the same way they treated us during Jim Crow is in the same way they treated us after during the Reformation age, post-slavery, the same time period they treat us like slaves. The same thing that's going on, ain't nothing different. I be on Facebook. I be hearing white people make racial slurs towards me. I be laughing. I say, y'all do know, as a descendant of Kevin Samuels, I do recognize shame, insult, guilt, and the need to be right. You look like a monkey. Once again, shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right doesn't work on me anymore. You do realize that, right, white people? You can call that brother over there nigger. You can call me nigger and make it hurt me. Nigger. Shame, insults, guilt need to be right. When I hear white people say stuff and black people say stuff in the States, that's part of our religion, how we talk to each other in our religion. Notice racism. Okay. Look it up. When was the last time y'all saw a country full of white folks marching? Not even in Germany. Come on, white folks marching like the Aryan Nation, like the KKK march in the United States to this day. Name the other countries that do that. Name another country that got a group of white people or a group of black people marching in somebody else's neighborhood trying to scare them. Name the country. Name it. Come on. Look, you can look at, I'm gonna give you time to look stuff up. You know, I'm a factual dude. Name the country where they got some dudes right now. Are white people marching in Italy against the black Italians? Show the picture. Show me the racist, even in Germany, the racist German that's marching in the black neighborhoods in Germany. Oh, show me the picture. Like I said, I didn't say racism doesn't exist in these countries. I didn't say that, but don't nobody worship racism like we do in America. That is our God. That is our temple. We bow down to bigotry, hatred, and racism. That is our shoe. That's how we keep country going. You take bigotry and racism outside the United States, you know how much money would be lost if we all came together as a unit and actually was united in the United States? You know how many billions of dollars would be lost if we actually came in the trillions, if we actually came together and supported each other. Y'all think money would be made? Hell no, money would be lost. All them Umars going broke, all those brothers and sisters that's walking around talking about because of the white people, they would be broke. All the books that they write about don't like the white man, they would go broke. Think about all the Klansmen, all the hatred dudes, all the white people that have made money off of being racist. And if racism doesn't exist anymore, you know how many David Dukes will be broke? It is too much money being made in the United States to keep y'all separated. I don't know why y'all think that they just do it to be doing it. That the white man just waking up in the morning and the police are just being bad. No. It is money being made keeping y'all white people under control by way of racism. if rich people can keep the poor whites focused on racism, rich white people ain't got to worry about white people looking at them and what they doing, right? You got white people stupid enough to vote for Trump in masses. And I'm talking about broke white people that ain't got no money, that they need a hand up just as much as anybody else. There are more white mothers on Social Security, that are on welfare, more white mothers on that were on EBT cards, more white mothers on Section 8, not black women, white women. More white women that benefited from the Equal Rights Act of 65. White women. Nobody benefited more than white women. And at the same time, these dudes, as long as they can keep white women and white men focused on their disdain for black people, billionaires can run your country in front of your face, can tell you, I'm gonna take away your programs because we don't want black people to have them too. And white people that are racist in the United States will agree with it. I am willing to give up my EBT card as a white woman. I'm willing to give up my rights as a white woman. I'm willing to give up my rights as a white man when it comes to government contracts, just so them Negroes don't get it. That's how strong the religion of racism is in the United States. Don't y'all ever think that there's a religion greater than racism in the United States. There isn't. But here's the kicker. Don't bring your religious beliefs. And I learned this, and a lot of y'all learned this the hard way. Don't bring your racial, religious beliefs to other countries. Oh, they staring at me because I'm black. Ain't nobody staring at your black ass because you black. They staring at you because you're a foreigner. Oh, Asian women don't want to date me because I'm black. That's your religion in your country. You got to realize Japan is an isolated island. And the people were taught, don't color outside the coloring book. Don't color outside the lines. That's for any race. But your black want to go to these other countries and say, well, the Japanese woman don't want to be with me because I'm black. No, she was taught don't color outside the lines. And if she do colors outside the line, they were told to her, let it be with a white boy if you gonna do it. That's if you gonna do it. White boys go through hell in Japan, try to get them a good one just like brothers do. But y'all don't catch that. Everything to y'all is race. Everything. You've been programmed that everything is race. The only time we wake up and not think about everything as race partly is when we as black men and white men start making dollars. Now when we at the golf course, don't nobody care nothing about no race, because we know in order for you to be at this golf course, you need to have this level of money. So now let's talk. Forget about them poor blacks and poor whites and poor Latins at the bottom. Now you a rich black and I'm a rich white. Let's see how we gonna make this money while the rest of these fools keep fighting. You think rich whites don't do contract work with rich blacks? What? What? Y'all funny in the United States, bro. I love my country. My country to keep me laughing. My country keep me laughing. You say Japanese people have Japanese only established because of the language barrier, not because of race. People get that wrong. And even in Japan, yes, they are taught a form of bigotry. In other countries, a form of bigotry or prejudiceness to prejudge somebody. That's around the world. But no country, none, has made billions upon billions of dollars every year off of racism but the United States. We make money off everything. I wish y'all could get that through your mind. There is nothing that takes place in the United States somebody is not making money off of. I don't care if it's spoken word. I know spoken word dudes that are good and they got 15 albums out. It's always something being made money off of. That's the United States. Our religion is capitalism and racism, and never shall the two part. Capitalism and racism, and never shall that marriage come to an end. They will never divorce from each other. That's why you guys can't put in the comment section a country that y'all know of that every year a bunch of white dudes or a bunch of black dudes are marching talking about black rights and white rights. That don't happen nowhere but the United States. And it ain't about no freedom of speech and all that stuff. Just because we got freedom of speech, you let people know. No, it's because we a bunch of racists. We are bigots and we're prejudiced. All of us. 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 I don't care if it's the bigotry of the light-skinned sisters versus the dark-skinned sister, light-skinned brother versus the dark-skinned brother, the rich brother versus the poor brother. The brothers that don't like the brothers that come from other countries. I don't like them damn Jamaicans. I don't like them black Cubans. I don't like them Afro-Latinas. We always prejudge and bigotry, showing bigotry towards somebody, even towards our own. White people do that. You think white people ain't got no bigotry towards? I don't like them Irish dudes. I don't like them Italians. Them some mafia dudes. I don't like them Jewish dudes because they always trying to run. White folks be saying the same thing about Jewish people that we think. Same thing. America is a bigoted, racist group. The only time that we are halfway decent to each other is during a tragedy. Mass shooting at a parade, we come together. Somebody walk into a kindergarten and delete some kids, we come together. 9/11, we come together. If it ain't a tragedy, we can't stand each other. We can't stand each other. And then we'll try to sit up there and do our little individual stories. Well, I'm personally not like that. I never was like, I'm personally like that. I'm not talking about personally. I'm talking about as a mass, as a group, as a nation. We make too much money off of being racist. Black people don't want racism to end. Black people lying. You lying black people. Hear me out. You are liars. You don't want racism to end. There's too much money, Umar, to be made with racism. Too much money to be made with racism. Too many books to be sold about racism. Black people don't want racism to end. That racism is the one thing that keeps us together. The racism, the one thing, it ain't our skin. Racism towards us is the one thing that causes us to at least be cool with each other or cordial with each other. You get rid of racism in the United States and you think black people treat each other bad now behind the scenes, let racism from another race in. No more racism, and everything is equal in the United States and it's fair in the United States. Let it be that, right? Where white man is not coming at you, the police ain't coming at you, society ain't coming at you, the politics ain't coming at you. Let this black people could just be black. Watch how fast we turn on each other when we ain't got racism. I wish the hell racism would end in the United States. I just want to see that experiment take place. I want to see how black people would end if racism was not a matter. Oh, I'm sorry, we can look at that right now. Just look at the continent of Africa. You got countries upon countries of countries of nothing but the same color, right? Do they got fair government representation, or is those black countries where black people got corrupt governmental officials? Is enslavement still prevalent in the continent of Africa among our people? Oh yeah, so we can look at some of them diamond mines and see how them people are treated. But they the same color as us, right? Don't y'all ever think just because we the same color that we won't turn on each other. Because some countries in Africa are a perfect example of, if we didn't have race in our way, how we would treat each other. And there are countries in Africa that black people treat black people like slaves and beneath slaves, like pets and like dogs. If you become I was just reading a headline. They said if you become a president in Africa at any point, you are guaranteed to be 8 times richer than you ever could imagine. The average African country, if you ever become president of an African country, they say statistically, I was just reading it the other day, you will become 8 times richer than you imagine. So if your imagination say, I just want to make 5,000, you're going to be 5 million. You're going to be worth 40 million just being president of an African country. Them tax money ain't got to go to no roads, ain't got to go to no streets, ain't got to go to proper health. Not saying that those things don't exist in Africa. What I'm saying is, don't assume that if there was a country or a chance for us to have an all-black world, that we wouldn't turn on each other, because many of those countries in Africa are a perfect example of what would happen if it was an all-black world. Perfect examples. We don't have one country that's a utopia. Okay, name the country in Africa that's a utopia, where you got all fair government, the people are treated fairly, taxation is fair. Name the Wakanda in Africa today. Y'all got the comment section. Name the Wakanda forever, right? Name the perfect country in Africa. It's black folk. So you ain't got to worry about the racism part. Name the Wakanda. Name it right now. Put in the comment section. That country in Africa right now, black folks running things and being fair to other black people. Name that country. I can't name it, so some of you brothers from that location, some of you guys have visited those locations. No racism in sight. No white man in sight. Ain't no pilgrim. And I don't want to hear this. They got the mindset of the colonizer. BS. Because before there was a colonizer, there was brothers and sisters on that continent selling us to the colonizers. Don't forget about that part too. Before the colonizers became colonizers, we were still going to wars with each other, and the person that lost the war would become indentured to the ones they won the war to. So don't act like this is brand new because of the colonizers. Tired of y'all using that word on everything like we just some stupid idiots, like we're pets and we learned everything that we ever learned on this planet from the white man. White man didn't always rule. We was like this when we were ruling Egypt. When black people ruled Egypt, how were we? Was not in the Bible and a bunch of slaves? Was that not black folks and other folks being enslaved and Europeans being enslaved when we were running Egypt? Oh, okay. So name the country right now. Like my brother T-Mac said, Ethiopia got a bunch of tribal wars right now. So even if you took American black people and gave them an experiment, here's your own land, we will be just as bad as our African brothers and sisters also. Because we will want to do one thing that our African brothers and sisters are doing to each other, capitalizing on each other. And they don't even come from capitalist countries. We are born and raised capitalists in the United States. You think that if we had an all-black country, we would not capitalize on each other? The hell we wouldn't. When it comes to racism, that's why I keep my mouth shut, because of all the stuff that I just told y'all over the last 20 minutes. Racism ain't going nowhere. That's your religion. That's your religion. I said that's your religion in the United States. You ain't gonna be reminded of nothing. Man, you ain't, dude, you gotta tell yourself that you gonna get on your knees and pray to God. Because United States is not gonna tell you about God, but it dang sure gonna wake up and tell you about racism every day. When the last time they told your kids in the United States about God in school, but they will tell you about racism in school? Oh yes, they will. You will know about racism in school, won't you? When the last time somebody talked about God at work? They ain't got to. Why? Because you can talk about some racial issues that took place at work, can't you? Oh yes, you can. What about in the business sector? When it comes to businesses in the United States? Nobody want to talk about God when it comes to businesses, but you will dang sure notice that there's some racism when it comes to businesses, don't you? Name one sector in the United States that you can sit back and say they don't have God in that sector, but racism is right there, being worshiped. So when this man says that racism is in around the world, but it is nothing like the United States, this white boy ain't lying. Anytime a white boy tell you he tired of seeing it, a white boy telling y'all I left because I'm tired of it. I left because I'm tired of it. A white boy. United States will never end racism. Ever. Ever. Y'all can protest all y'all want. It ain't going nowhere. UK, white people on the street protesting. Show me the example. And show me why they protested. Are they protesting racially like the Klan? And show it to us. Drop the link. Drop the video link. Drop the don't just say stuff. Y'all know how I am. Don't be just saying stuff. White people protesting. Why are they protesting? A, in the protest that you're talking about. B, because I can drop plenty of Klans and Aryan Nation in the rise of the new Nazi. I could drop plenty of them photos and videos just from this year alone. I need for y'all, don't be saying stuff in the comment section. Drop a link so we can look at a news headline, a photo that verifies why. You can always have a white boy. White boys always in Europe picketing and protesting something in Europe. So we can't just sit back and say, what do white boys either? No. Put it in context. See, I'm telling you that the white boys in the States, they doing it because of racism. Now they pick it because of other things, but I'm talking about the Klan, the Aryan Nation, them groups like that. Show me them type of white boys in Europe. Show me them type of white boys. Ain't nobody, and if you do see it, it ain't nothing like the United States. Bet that. It ain't in the United States, they ain't even got to wear no damn hoods no more. You notice that? Klansmen ain't even got to wear a hood no more. They just wear those just out of showing homage to the past. Klansmen will walk through your neighborhood hood free. Your kid's school teacher, the local police officer, your local judge, 3 of the city council members, they will walk through your neighborhood with the robe on and no hood. Show me that in Europe. Like I said, it's racism and bigotry everywhere, but don't nobody worship it like we do in the United States. And I don't know why y'all want to pretend like any other country does. You ain't named the country yet Yeah, I've been talking for the last 20 minutes. You have yet to show me and name the country where they worship racism like we do in the United States. UK has racism. They don't worship racism. We worship racism. Canada has racism. South America has racism. We worship racism to the death. We still one of the few countries where we still hanging each other, deleting each other. You can't blame it on the white boys because remember a couple years ago, they had to pass a law to keep y'all from killing and beating on the Asian dudes. Asian dudes couldn't, Asian women couldn't walk down the neighborhood without some black dudes or some white dudes jumping on them. So don't act like white boys the only ones that'll jump on another race, because a few years back, every time you turn around on TikTok, it was some brothers jumping on some Asian dude about this, or jumping on some Asian dude about that, or jumping on some Middle Eastern dude about this, or jumping on a Middle Eastern dude about that. Don't act like it's only white boys just grabbing up people. Brothers, we was grabbing up folks too. Why? Because we worship racism too in the United States. That's our religion right there. That's our religion. Ain't nobody gonna tell me a lie about that one. And you can't name another country that does it on the level that we do it. Ain't another country. You can name another with their racism. You can name pockets of racism or different styles of racism, but don't nobody do it like we do. We so proud of our racism. We racist with pride. Black people racist with pride. White people racist with pride. Latin people, we racist with pride. We proud to be racist. I wish your mama would take my racism away from me. That's how the United States is. You can take a lot of stuff away from me. I'll be damned if you take my guns and my right to be a racist. And all these brothers be walking around talking about something. Black people can't be racist, but we the main ones over the last couple of years. Every time you turn around, we putting our hands on some Asian dude or some Middle Eastern dude, just like white people do. We the main ones talking about we ain't racist, but we'll delete each other. In other words, impacting our race. Black man can't be racist. Who the hell told y'all that? Another black man. Okay, there we go. We ain't got the power to be racist. The hell we don't. The hell we don't got the power to be racist. We got the power, the mindset, the ability, the examples. Man, shoot. Man, y'all better get out of my face trying to act like America ain't racist. Man, we love racism. Love it. 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 We love racism. We love being bigots. We love waking up in the morning. Who can I hate today? Who can I hate? Who can I hate today? I hated white people yesterday, but today I'm hating on light-skinned black people. That's what I'm gonna be hating on today. Tomorrow's agenda is already set up in here. I'm hating on people, my Asian brothers and sisters. Yeah, tomorrow is Asian Hate Day. Oh yeah. That's right. Oh, I can't forget every day hating on my white boss. I got to hate on him every day. Americans wake up waiting for somebody to hate on. Somebody bumped your car because you black. They did it because I'm black. Somebody cut you off in traffic. Not because they was rude, not because they were just being selfish or they were just driving crazy. You ain't thinking none of that. She cut me off in traffic because I'm black. Everything is because you black. See, see. I went to the fruit market in my neighborhood and ain't no healthy fruit. I went to the fruit market in the white neighborhood and all they fruit is good and healthy. It's because we black. That's why they don't. No, it's because it's something called class. And you ain't in that level of class. Once you get your money up, you ain't got to be in the lower class to be eating lower class foods and going to lower class grocery stores. And now you're making more money. And now you can afford to live in a better class where there's better food and a better grocery store. But you said it was racism. No, it was classism. They ain't give you that unhealthy food because of your race. They give you that unhealthy food because your butt is broke. Stop being broke and watch what you can get. You know when I discovered that? When I started making money. When I started making, dude, when I got over 60,000 in the States and I started living in the suburbs, I'm starting, you notice how when you live in the suburbs, you go in the fruit market, fruit looking all healthy and everything. They got the little water spritz coming down every few seconds on the fruit. Spish, spish, spish. The meat is all fresh. You ain't got that little rotten meat smell. You could be you can have a grocery store that's got a meat section in the back. Ain't no stinky meat, none of that. Go back to the hood. Go to the Walmart in the hood. What the hell is that smell? Bananas? I ain't never smelled a banana that smell. Oh my God, why are the bananas brown on this side of town? Dude, do you smell that meat? It smells like the Eastern Market in downtown Detroit. Oh my God, it smells like a slaughterhouse in Kroger's. This is supposed to be Kroger's. Shout out to 313.
You better back the fuck up out my face, goddammit. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Don't play with me.
This is supposed to be Kroger's. And you take your butt straight to Dearborn and you go there, it's the same butchery. And you ain't smelled nan meat. It's because they against blacks and what? No, bruh. It was about the class. That didn't me being in the Kroger's in the hood and being in Kroger's in another neighborhood in the suburbs was based on how much money I made. It ain't have a dang thing to do with my color. It ain't had nothing to do with my color. That's one of the ways I discovered that some of the things, I'm gonna say, I didn't say all, but some of the things that we keep crying about is race is really class. One of my favorite quotes is, "You ain't ugly, you just broke." You ever notice how some people, once they start making money, who's a perfect example of that? She's a singer, man. Not Miley Cyrus, but the other girl, man, that she's very well known. With the dark hair, I forget her name. She's got millions of albums out she's sold, but you ever see that entertainer when they first start? And you see them at the awards show and but once they start making a little bit of money, they get the face, facials. They can do a mud bath, cleaning their body. She can get her hair done by the best. All of a sudden, you looking at her like, dang, she is fine. She wasn't broke. I mean, she wasn't ugly. She was broke. That's one of my favorite quotes between the poor and the rich. That is easily my favorite quote when it comes to classism, when it comes to going after something. A lot of you dudes ain't ugly. You just broke. More money you make, the better barber you can go to. You going to the $50 barber right now, huh? Now you making money. Now you got enough money. How many of you dudes know about the barbers that do house calls? You ain't going to the barbershop no more. Dudes that got money, shit. I wish I would go to the barbershop if I had here. I ain't going to no damn barbershop. Barber coming here. You ain't broke. I mean, you ain't ugly. You just broke. The more money you make, you ain't got to take your car to the car wash. I already know the more money we make, the day will come. We ain't taking our car to no damn car wash. You ought to take the car wash to drop it off. You ain't washing them. I ain't washing no car by hand. I drop my car off and come back and pick it up. I can't tell you what a grit is under my tires. I don't know about them. Andre don't know about no damn grit in the tires. Them washing our car, they going to the car wash and washing it by my damn self. And Andre, you ain't ugly. You just broke. Andre, you ain't ugly. You just broke. Now you making more money. Now you buying the exfoliator. So now you're exfoliating your hair, and if you're bald, you're getting the coconut exfoliator to make sure all your skin is clean. And all of a sudden, everybody looking at you like, man, Dre, bruh, you 57? Bruh, I'm gonna tell you something, brother. You do not look 57. Dre, you ain't ugly. You was just broke. A broke dude at 57 and a dude with a little bit of money at 57 look completely different at 57. Promise you that one. 57, you can afford a trainer now. You ain't just going to the gym. You can afford a trainer. You ain't ugly. You just broke. Some of y'all ready? Here we go. We just talked about obesity in the United States. You ain't fat. You just broke. You just not at the place where you like, I can afford a trainer, a dietitian. I ain't got that, I ain't got no extra money like that to go ahead and give me somebody can do my daily meal prep. I don't want to do it. I ain't got no money. Right.
I'm not black, I'm OJ.
Right. Shout out to T-Mac. You see that all the time. Katy Perry, that's what I was trying to think of. Katy Perry. If you guys look at Katy Perry when she first started singing, it was just her and her guitar on her songs. Bruh, there was nothing cute about Katy Perry. Katy started making some money. That's the Katy Perry, Miss Wrecking Ball. That's Katy Perry that we know. Super Bowl Katy Perry. That's the one we used to. But bro, if you go back and look at some of the Katy Perry when she first started, you would know. She ain't ugly. She just broke. She just broke. Yep, Demi. Same thing with Demi. Absolutely correct. I saw Demi in concert too. Had a female friend take me to go see Demi. That was a good show too. She can sing. He said, Dre, you look like Tretch from Naughty by Nature. And Tretch look good, dog. For his age, shout out to Tretch, man. Shout out to that brother. I'll take that as a compliment. Yes, sir. I'm 57, still got the strong cheekbones. Come on now, I'm 57, still rocking the strong cheekbones. Ain't got a bunch of wrinkles all over my face. Ain't got no squint lines from smiling all the time. Teeth still looking good. The hair, the bald hair still shining from the exfoliation and the cocoa butter. Man, please. You ain't ugly. You just broke. And I say that on purpose, guys, to let you guys know a lot of stuff is not about racism, it's about classism. Rich people know that. White people don't. I said that on purpose. Rich people know that about classism. White people don't. White people still think that stuff is centered around racism. Black people still think stuff is centered around racism. Black people with money know it ain't all about racism. A lot of it is, but a lot of it is about classism. And here in South America, it really shows its head. It really shows its head in South America. It's really about classism. You got black people in South America that will sit back and say, well, they're trying to erase the race. Yeah, that's true. That's y'all form of racism. I got you. I agree with that. But once you get to a certain level of economics in South America, the connections that you make, bruh. The connections that you make. Some of you brothers, because you have the amount of money to go in some of the restaurants and the bars and the eateries that you go to, that the average Colombian can't go to, you make connections with people on a whole nother level in Colombia that the average Colombian can't even get in contact with. Just because you can afford to go into those spots. Just because you can afford it. Yeah, man. Let's continue on with the video. Let me shut up for a minute. Let's get ready to wrap the video up. Shout out to you, gentlemen.
The next reason is infrastructure and overall design and quality of the city where you're living. In a lot of places in the United States, infrastructure is crumbling. Airports in the United States, most of them are crumbling. They're horrible. Roads are full of potholes. So even if the country itself in the government level goes in the right direction and stops wasting money on wars all over the world and stops basically funding projects like, for example, the transgender clinic in India that the US aid was funding, now that's over. That's amazing, but still, infrastructure in the United States is a long way from infrastructures in countries like, for example, the UAE and Dubai, and many other countries that are developing extremely well. In Latin America, I would say there's some cities that look better than some cities in the United States, and they have less crime, and overall people don't hate each other. And yeah, there's a little bit of crime, but it's not that bad. Infrastructure is even better. So you have many other options around the world if you want to live in a modern, beautiful city. One of the big reasons why I left the United States is dating and relationships. Dating in the United States, for most people, it's going to be a terrible experience. The entitlement, feminism, that is not going to change. This is going to continue on the rise. Overall, just the access that you have to build a traditional family, or the probability of a woman settling down in the United States is a lot lower than in many other countries. There's a lot of Americans. Obviously, there's this whole movement of the passport bros, which has a bad reputation at this point, but it's true. I agree with them. Get your passport and go somewhere else where your dating options are much more. You have access to way more beautiful women abroad than you do in the United States. You have much easier access to a woman that has traditional values, that wants to cook for you, that is not entitled, that doesn't want you to spend all your money on her. And she's willing to clean, to cook, to be a traditional wife. You have that in many other countries that you don't in the United States. For most people that I meet, even in cities like Miami, dating is just horrible. It's trash. Dating apps suck, versus if you use dating apps in other countries like in Eastern Europe, it's an amazing experience. You use dating apps in Asia, it's an amazing experience. You use dating apps in Latin America, although you need to be careful, like in countries like Colombia, so you don't get killed through a dating app. But overall, you're gonna have a better experience dating and building a family in other countries that you don't in the United States. Even now with Trump, and let's say the country heading in the right direction, the government can always change and it can switch blue, it could switch to the Democrats, and then everything goes downhill again. So the uncertainty of knowing the long-term direction of the country is also a problem. And obviously, who is in power, who's in the government, it's not going to change your life that much. It's more in the culture, right? If people hate each other, if racists hate each other, if there's a lot of crime, if dating sucks, if the food sucks, one president is probably not going to change that. And also in 4 years, something can change, and there's a new president, and now everything is going downhill again, and we're wasting money, and infrastructure is crumbling. So this uncertainty is also one of the reasons where you might have one good president and then another terrible one, and then again another terrible one. So overall, you can't really say, oh, the country's heading in a good direction long term. No, because it might always change after 4 years. Also, global opportunities for business and growth. The United States is not the #1 market anymore for growing your business. Yes, it gives you access to a giant market, trillions of dollars in wealth, the American dream, which a lot of people are saying it's dead. You can build your dream anywhere in the world, or a lot of people say your American dream is leaving America. So essentially building the American dream somewhere else in another country as an American, which I agree. I built my business outside of the United States as an American, not inside of the United States. But there's markets with a lot more potential. There's emerging markets. Even some Americans investing in countries in Africa are making a ton of money that they wouldn't be making back in the United States. And the whole world is opening up. Half of the world is open to investment and starting a business and getting citizenship. The other half are countries that are opening up and emerging. And overall, it's not just the United States, it's not the only market. And this entitlement idea of we're #1, the US is the best country in the world, that entitlement and thinking that the United States is number one is also one of the reasons why I live outside of the United States, why I renounced my US citizenship, because there's so many other countries. It's not 1960s anymore, 1970s, when the US is the only country to go to. There's many other options, many other places to build a business, many other places to build a beautiful family that you don't need to worry about your children being obese or getting shot at in a mass shooting. There's so many other countries to build a beautiful life.
One thing is clear, wealthy Americans are looking to potentially set up shop in other countries at record levels.
53% of U.S. millionaires are likely to leave America after the election. Watch this. No matter who gets voted in. It's up 30% from last year. Let that sink in. Here's the spots they won't go to. Malta is where they getting their second citizenship at. St. Lucia and Antigua. Malta is the #1 spot they won't go to. Now, I never heard of this place before. Now look, these are the top 4 highest. Portugal, Greece, Italy, Spain. And that's for permanent residency. Malta, St. Lucia, and Antigua is for second citizenship. The people trying to get out of here, they're like, yo, we checking out for the next 4 years. And they say it don't care who get in office.
Celebrities who have kept their promises and fled the United States after Trump's victory. The last one is even capable of destroying Hollywood. There were quite a number of celebrities who vehemently threatened to leave the United States during Trump's presidency, but very few actually did it. Number 1, Eva Longoria, a well-known director and producer. After Trump was elected president, she stated that she and her family had already left the United States. Number 2, Lena Dunham, a fierce opponent of Trump. She repeatedly blasted him as a hellhound. In 2016, she announced that if Trump won, she would move to Canada. Now, her whole family has already moved to London. Number 3, Bryan Cranston, who believes that Trump and his supporters are all insane. He plans to leave Hollywood and settle in France in 2026. Number 4, Chelsea Handler. She said that she had already bought a house in another country. However, after the election, she changed her mind and decided to stay in the United States temporarily because she thought that the United States needed voices like hers more than ever. Number 5, the Obama family. According to insiders, the Obama family disappeared after Trump took office. In fact,
Barack gone, fellas. Barack is gone. I said Barack gone. Barack coming to the United States for speeches only. Coming to see his daughters. Barack gone. He already said that he was leaving anyway. Anytime you got a former president that said, I'm out this mother. Ain't no more smoke. Barack got back-to-back victories. That's like trying to sit back and say Jordan ain't got 6 championships. Barack gone, fellas.
in fact, they had left the United States. Which other celebrities do you think should keep their promises?
Number 1, Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson stated he'd move to South Africa after the election, openly criticizing Trump's policies and political stance. Number 2, Chelsea Handler. Comedian Chelsea Handler initially discussed moving abroad, expressing dissatisfaction with Trump's election and plans to promote social causes. Number 3, Neve Campbell. Actress Neve Campbell moved back to Canada, saying she preferred to raise her children in an environment aligned with her values.
Number 1, Eva Longoria. Eva Longoria believed that the country was turning into a dystopia, so she planned to move to the UK permanently. She confessed that most Americans were not as lucky as her and couldn't escape from there. Number 2, Sharon Stone. Sharon Stone claimed that it was time for her to flee the United States. She was considering buying a house in Italy. Number 3, Cher. In an interview, she stated that she almost suffered from a gastric ulcer during Trump's previous term in office. So this time, she chose to leave the country. Number 4, Sophie Turner. Sophie Turner pledged that if Trump came to power, she would leave the United States and return to her native country. the UK. 5 celebrities who have left the US after Trump won. Number 5, Barbra Streisand. On The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Streisand mentioned she couldn't stay in the US if Trump were re-elected. She praised Biden's leadership, highlighting her concerns about a potential Trump return. Number 4, Cher, the legendary singer, once joked about leaving the planet if Trump won. With his current campaign, she again hinted at leaving, emphasizing her enduring opposition to Trump's politics. Number 3, America Ferrera, ugly Betty Starr. America Ferrera is reportedly considering a move to the UK if Trump returns to office. While committed to her Hollywood career, Ferrera's activism reflects her discomfort with Trump's policies on women and minorities. Number 2, Minnie Driver. British actress Minnie Driver, who's lived in Los Angeles for 30 years, is contemplating a return to the UK if Trump wins. Driver's mixed feelings reveal the challenges many international stars face in a polarized America.
Miley Cyrus, always outspoken, said she'd flee the country if Trump took office. The singer was reportedly seen looking at homes in Costa Rica, starting a new chapter far from American politics. Number 1, Amy Schumer. Schumer swore she'd move to Spain after Trump's victory. Friends say she even spent time there post-election, contemplating a permanent relocation.
I'm leaving America. I'm done with it. These next 3 months are about to be the shakiest months in U.S. history. Hello, sir. I love China. I'm sure by now you have guessed which country I believe is the number 1 best option if you are looking to move out of the West, out of the USA, out of the UK, any of these countries where the West is falling. When choosing this country, I kept in mind that my viewers are from an international place. I have viewers from all across the world, and so I made sure that I kept that in mind so that this opportunity was open to all of you. So today I've teamed up with a company named OneLink that is going to streamline this entire process and make becoming a citizen of Dubai as simple as possible.
I hope you'll forgive me if I'm a little frustrated that some of us are choosing to ignore Donald Trump's gross incompetence while asking Kamala to dazzle us at every turn. I hope that you'll forgive me if I'm a little angry that we are indifferent to his erratic behavior, his obvious mental decline, his history as a convicted felon, a known slumlord, a predator found liable for sexual abuse. All of this while we pick apart Kamala's answers from interviews that he doesn't even have the courage to do, y'all.
You don't have to have a lot of money to move out of the United States. That's a common misconception. And the truth is that for most people, the reason why they leave is because they don't have a lot of money. And the little bit of money they do have can go a lot further in another country. People that move out of the United States are generally broken down into 3 categories, all of which spend a lot less money than you probably are. They're young college-age students who decide to spend a year or so traveling around the world. They're living in hostels, they're using public transportation. The second category are digital nomads, or people that are working remotely, and you can work a lot less because you're spending a lot less money. Every dollar that you make from the U.S. company goes a lot further when you live in Thailand. Number 3 are retired people who are on a fixed income, maybe just Social Security or a little bit of a pension or a 401k. Every dollar that they spend here goes a lot further than a dollar in the United States. Being outside of the United States isn't because you have lots of money, it's because you want to maximize the money that you have. That income can also be really good for the countries that you go to. Many of these countries are capital poor, meaning that the people don't have access to capital to improve their businesses. By people from the United States immigrating down there and spending our money in their local businesses rather than at big stores that go to Jeff Bezos or to some big group of stockholders, you're helping the local people improve their lives. And I think that's pretty great when it can be better for you and for them.
So for 2025, we know that there has been a change of command and we are getting a new president. So this is the second friend that I had tell me that they have taken an overseas assignment as a contractor so that they could not live in the United States for the next 4 years. Is this common Like, is this a thing that other people are doing? So when my first friend told me that, I just thought that was, I just thought that was her thoughts. But then when another close friend of mine took a contract position as a contractor in another country, I wondered, is other people doing that? We are all having anxiety, with what is to come for the next 4 years. But what are you guys' thoughts? What are your guys' thoughts? And do you know anyone who is opting to live in another country for the next 4 years? Let me know your thoughts.
I've been working remotely for almost 10 years. Not because I got lucky, not because I had connections, but because I figured it out, one step at a time. And now I love that I don't have an office. Here's the thing. Anyone can actually get a remote job, but most people waste months, sometimes years, making mistakes that slow them down. I've spent the last decade testing, failing, learning, and proving that this life is possible. And now I get to help others do the same. Because trust me, if I could figure this out, and so could my brother, my mom, my friends, and the thousands of people I've helped get remote jobs, so can you. And I'm here to make the process easier. Tell me what you're struggling with below, and I'll tell you what to do next. Because
let's talk about securing a contracting job after you get out. There are 2 things you can do to set yourself up for success. 1, don't be a bag while you're in the military. Being in the military is a big networking event and should be treated as such. 2, create a LinkedIn profile. Make sure that you're using all the keywords for the jobs that you want. Also, add everybody that you know to your network. Of course, the basis for your LinkedIn is going to be your resume. Because if you have a good resume, you just copy and paste all the information into your LinkedIn. Another tip, search for your jobs on LinkedIn and Indeed. Search by the alphanumerical designator and the name of the job. For instance, I was a 35 November in the Army, so I'm going to do a keyword search for 35 November, SIGINT analyst, and also signals intelligence analyst. So if you're wondering why I'm so smart, there you go.
Got a job overseas? Before you sign that contract, listen up. So first up is going to be your salary and benefits. So make sure your contract clearly states your salary, your payment schedule, and any extras like housing, airfare reimbursement, health insurance, and what they cover. I cannot stress this part enough. Make sure that you check what the contract says for your working hours and your duties. Look for details on your weekly working hours, your class sizes, and your responsibilities. Next is going to be the contract duration and your renewal terms. Typically, it's a year-long contract. Renewal is up to you. They might approach you around that 6-month time frame to possibly renew your contract. But again, it's up to you if you want to do it. You do get a renewal bonus if you do renew. Next is going to be your vacation and sick leave. Make sure you use your sick leave. Don't let them make you feel any type of way. But your sick leave, you usually get about 10 to 15 days. As far as vacation, 20 days. And with the national holidays and all that, you might get around 45 days total. Finally, the termination clause. Now, you might not like your school. You might not like the environment, whatnot. You want to go home. There are going to be some repercussions if you do this before, I believe, around 6 months into the contract, but make sure you read those terms. If you like this information, click the link in my bio for a step-by-step guide on how to land your position, what to look out for, and enjoy your time overseas.
So everybody wants to know how I got my overseas government contracting job, making $225,000 a year by the age of 25. So basically, it's really simple. I was working for a government contractor company and I wanted to go overseas, and basically all I did was look on the internal career website, called up the hiring manager, said, hey, think I'm a good fit for this role. I ended up getting on the phone with him. He liked my resume. I just had to get one certification, which was the Security Plus. Got that certification, and then I ended up getting a job overseas. So basically, that's how I became an overseas government contractor. And if you want to learn more about this, make sure you follow me to learn more about GovTech and overseas contracts.
Absolutely, yes. There are always countries that have worker shortages or need native English speakers. So no matter how normal or regular skilled you are, you have options. So if you are someone who works a normal job and wants to move abroad, here's what I'm going to recommend you do. First thing is pick a destination country, 2 or 3. Then look up the CV or resume format in that country. You'll see pretty quickly that there are quite a few cultural differences that will immediately become clear. Like some countries require a photo on your resume. Some countries are also far less interested in your specific accomplishments, like is super common in the US, and don't want to see you brag about yourself, and would rather see what skills you're learning or what you're interested in your career trajectory looking like. So that's why it's super important to look up the country and look up their normal resume cultural formatting. Now you're going to take your resume and you're going to rework it until it fits within what they have specified. The next thing you're going to do is just mass apply. The worst thing a company can say is no, and you are in no worse of a position if they say no than you are right this very second. So don't count yourself out before you apply. Just go for it. The third thing I'm going to recommend is looking at multinational companies. So for example, Booking.com, Uber, and a lot of other American companies have their headquarters in Amsterdam. So if you want to live in the Netherlands, it's a good idea to apply to these multinational companies because a lot of them need native English speakers. They're also already used to sponsoring people for open positions. Another place I recommend you look is companies that have US interests. So for example, you can look at US consulates, US embassies, because they're required to hire US citizens. Or look at international schools, for example. And you don't necessarily need to be a teacher in order to get hired at an international school. They also are a business. And so there are lots of normal corporate positions at those schools that would prefer native English speakers. A third option is to try and get yourself a job at a multinational corporation here in the US while you're still here and work your way towards a transfer. So pick a country that has a headquarters in your destination country of choice, and you can kind of finagle the system from here if you'd like. And finally, I'd recommend looking at the country's immigration website because some countries, like the UK, for example, has an entire list of every company that has already been approved to sponsor new employees. So you can start your search from these already pre-approved company lists. And that will make it a lot easier to get hired because they already know what it takes and have done it in the past.
If you want to leave America to live abroad and work remotely, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. In my previous video, I talked about all the steps you would need in order to move abroad and what countries to pick and all that good stuff. But this video, I'm going to specifically talk about how to make money. Now, the first option I recommend to a lot of people is to do some type of work transfer. Now, this pretty much means you'll travel to a new country and provide some type of work or service for a company, startup, or individual in exchange for accommodations, food, and transportation, and it's sometimes payment on top of that. Now, I usually recommend Worldpackers because it's a super reputable site. They have tons of different opportunities all over the world, and you can provide anything from admin work, housekeeping services, or photography. And whether you're beginner, intermediate, or advanced, they have something for everybody with tons of different benefits available. Now, for those who are looking for a remote job inside of the US that allows them to travel and live abroad, there's a few different options that you have. Of course, you can get on Glassdoor and Indeed and look for different jobs or positions available, but what I've done is I've partnered with this company that has a school community, and they offer all types of different assistance and help to get people remote jobs. So if you want assistance with your resume and cover letter, finding remote jobs, and even sending out applications, click the link in my bio and we'll be able to help you out with finding your remote job. And then the final option is just saving up your money, moving to a country that's cheap as shit, and then living within your means for however long you want.
Hey, real talk, man. Look, I'm finna put a lot of y'all on game, bro. If you in the States and you like struggling, you know what I'm saying, to find a job, or you struggling because your salary kind of low, you need to become a contractor, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got certain companies like Vectress, which is called V2X now. You got Floor, DynCorp, KBR. Just go in there and search something like you qualified or certified to do. Or even if you ain't, just still fill it out, you know what I'm saying? Find a recruiter and you're gonna get to the money, man. Tax-free money. You get to live for free. You get to eat for free. You get to travel. Man, it's the life, man. It's life-changing for real. First of all, you gotta be ready for this heat. You know what I'm saying? It's our little chill area right here. Got the fishes in the tank. But, you know, we got the cat food, etc. The cushion for the seat. But yeah, bro, it about 200 and, my bad, I'm tripping. It about 120 degrees out here right now. Straight humidity. It's mad hot out here. Mad hot. Traffic always backed up. There really ain't no traffic rules, bro. Cops don't pull people over for traffic rules. They don't pull you over for speeding. They got traffic cameras and all that stuff for that. Only way you get pulled over by a cop is if you've been in an accident.
Yep, that's how they do it.
It's never pedestrian first. Always pedestrian last. Like these folks will hit you. They do not care. They will hit your ass. See like that right here? Another one coming, but I'm gonna walk. They don't stop.
That's true.
Don't get it twisted though. It ain't easy being out here, you know. You're away from your family and stuff like that. Other than that, that's probably the only thing. And like the cultural differences. But other than that, man, you can adapt because, you know, you got to think about the bigger picture. So as long as your family, like whether it's your mom, dad, sister, your wife, husband, whoever, your kids, you know what I'm saying, they know you're doing it for a better reason, then you're going to be straight.
Shout out to my man. That's the end of the videos right there. And so I want to end it on a positive note in regards to there are government contract opportunities out there. Like I showed earlier in our Patreon, we've got all type of information with government contracting that you could take advantage of. So make sure I'm going to drop the link one more time for the Patreon, because there is a lot of information out there for you guys to take advantage of. And when you're sometimes you'll be stuck in the States and you're scratching your head and you're wondering like, man, how do I get out of this situation? Or will I ever get out of this situation? One of the things that we try to provide on the channel is as much information, whether it be through Theo, whether it be through ourselves. We try to share as much information to bring your dream of living the American dream outside of America. We try to bring that to pass as fast as possible. So a lot of times, I'll say this before we end, a lot of times it is on you now. You can't say that the information is not there. You can't say, I didn't know. Your boy has written the books. Your boy has created the Patreon to put the information out there. I'm constantly doing videos every week showing you these countries that you can live in. The only reason that you're not living that dream yet is because of you got family responsibility, you got financial responsibility, you got friends, which is your comfort zone. But most of all, it's because you got fears. And we've all been there. But at the end of the day, I would rather enjoy my life in another country and not have to worry about that mess that's going on back home in the States than live another 10, 15, 20 years in the States. Trump will be long gone, and the hell that he's laid down will impact the United States at least for the next 10, 15 years. The beauty of it, you don't have to be around to deal with it. So let's end this live stream. Yeah, mostly excuses and fears. Yes, sir. Let's end this live stream. And I think I'm going to take tomorrow off. I'll be seeing you guys on Tuesday. He said, now I'm afraid to come back to the States. I'm not, because I ain't coming. Yeah, I ain't going to even fear nothing I ain't going to do. I'm not about to fear something I ain't going to do. Coming back to the States, I'll come back for the Black Manosphere Conclave, hang out with you brothers, and get my happy tail right back on somebody else's plane. I'm not flying all around the United States, and I ain't jumping all over the place. I got maybe 1 or 2 family members I want to see. But other than that, nobody. You won't coerce me back there. No. Man, I be walking around the United States like I got warrants, and I ain't got none. No. Mm-mm. No. Let me go to the top, get these videos going. Let's do the police ladies. Let's do the police ladies tonight. If I can find it. There we go.
investment. Sending cash to my account, he investing. Dark shades on when I'm off the Migos. He tryna cuff me like a in a Rico. Moving through the like GTA with a cheat code. He claimed that he love me, but before not a freak. I just wanna dance all night. Can't nobody do it just like I. Boy, you got just what I like. Come on, baby, let's kiss, don't fight. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. Just say the word, baby, I'ma get you right. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. Ain't gotta say it, I know I'm the one you like. Ooh, damn, tell the DJ turn the beat up. Got a white boy who be singing like a Beatle. Claim she getting bread, but I heard she doing keto. I don't do drugs, I'ma smoke a little weed up. I can't chase a man for no paper. Just think it's sweet, I'ma show him now or later. I be getting money on the wake up. He a broke boy, tell that bitch get his cake up. Only with dope boys, they the ones who spinning paper, get your weight up. Told him send an Addy and to stay up. She's out here mad, told him assalamu alaikum. Who that bitch 5'5", she don't even need no makeup. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. Just say the word, baby, I'ma get you right. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like.